Part 15. Infinity Throne. Author, by Yi Shueshi. Chapter 141. Looked up. The young man suddenly found that the sky was covered by a large shadow. Ah! Those are the majestic pecs. Etc. What the hell are pectoralis major muscles? The young man was shocked, and he raised his head a little higher in disbelief, until his neck hurt from raising it. A face that can still be vaguely distinguished as a woman's delicate features is stuck high on the iron tower. Click click click. That was the sound effect of sudden petrification. Suzayasu's expression was dull. She has seen this kind of reaction too many times. Well, so-called. She silently took out her phone and turned to a photo so clear that her pores were visible. The photo showed a chubby fleshy face, with barely noticeable eyes, and the fat cheeks squeezed out the arc of happiness. Excuse me, have you seen this person? He may be a little thinner than in the photo, but his eyes are definitely the same. He is so narrow that only a slit is left. Excuse me, have you seen him? Suzayasu tried to use the most gentle and elegant tone. When you go out, you must convince others with reason. Be it physics or theory. It's all rational. The young man shivered. My legs feel weak. Suzayasu lowered her head, and the area covered by the shadow increased a lot. She patiently repeated the question, have you seen this flexible fat man with squinting eyes? I. The young man's face turned pale. His lips were trembling, but he finally reacted. Mom. I want to go home dash. Turn around and run. Suzayasu sighed. Silently reaching out his hand, he picked up the innocent young man who was about to turn around and run home. The kind that holds the collar lightly with 2 fingers. Have you ever seen this nimble, narrow-eyed fat man? Suzayasu asked in a gentle tone, taking the trouble to do so. I am a reasonable woman. Generally speaking, I will not use violence. Don't worry. Hating City. Pudong District. Time, 1830. It was already dusk. Far away. There are countless metal debris floating on the sea. The oil stains on the sea surface in the distance reflect 7 colors of light under the sun, like pieces of rainbow-like clouds, reflecting each other in the sky. Well, the scenery of coastal cities is indeed unique. Yilin squinted her eyes and looked into the distance, feeling happy. Right now. The death mark on Yilin's chest shook slightly. Li Erpang no longer coyly sent text messages, and directly made a voice call. Can I do it? Yilin looked at the time, thought for a moment, and said to Li Erpang, 19:00. Wait, are you sure it will work? You won't trick me again, will you? Li Erpang's tone was still somewhat uncertain. Yilin actually wanted to say it. Be confident and remove the question marks. But Yilin thought about it carefully and realized that in order to increase the success rate of the plan, she still had to appease the little fat man's emotions. What era is it now? Li Erpang was stunned when he heard this, 2121. Yilin chuckled, yes, it's already 2121, and you're still worried that this plan won't succeed? If you don't believe me, why don't you take the time to check out the Hating City BBS? I just accidentally discovered a few interesting posts. Hating City BBS? What's the meaning? What's going on with Quan Hating City's BBS in this plan? But out of a little trust in Yilin and Li Erpang's own curiosity, he still followed the instructions and opened the Hating City BBS. It doesn't matter if you don't see it. As soon as he saw it, Li Erpang immediately felt tight. Barbie King Kong appears in Zongja district of the city. A real women's clothing boss suddenly appears in Zongja district, there are pictures and the truth. Please be careful when entering too many pictures. The women's clothing boss convinces people with reason and is looking for a flexible fat man with squinting eyes. Melon seed soda is sold in the front row, Let's talk about the little secrets between the nimble, narrow-eyed fat man and the cross-dressing boss. The cross-dressing boss cries bitterly on the street, is this a moral decline or a distortion of human nature? Yulin calculated the time correctly and estimated that classmate Li Erpang, who had a slightly tight anus, had already read the post, so she smiled and sent a silly smile expression. Look, this is an era of advanced technology. Nothing is impossible. Believe in yourself and believe in the plan. I really believe you. Li Erpang squeezed out a sad tear from the corner of his eyes and put away his cell phone with complicated emotions. At this time, a song sounded around Li Erpang at the right time. It was an eye drop advertisement combined with classical music style. Don't ask me who I am. Please face me. Look at the tears flowing from the corners of my eyes. I'm no different from you. But my heart breaks more easily. Besides, if you do that later, she may not be able to recognize you, so calm down. Li Erpang thought for a moment, and it seemed like that was the case, not to mention that his fat level was far inferior to that of Gotham City, let alone, what would happen later. Thinking of this, Li Erpang silently swallowed back his sad tears and ignored Suzias's matter for the time being. Anyway, Hating City is so big and there is a huge sea of people, so we may not be able to meet him, right? Li Erpang finally focused on his next plan again. Okay, I'll just trust you once. Don't try to trick me like Gotham did this time. Yilin corrected her seriously, the person who tricked you in Gotham City is Pangenji. Grass. Li Erpang instantly remembered what happened in Gotham City and wished he could beat that damn Pangenji to death with a stick. Yilin looked at the time again. I wasted a while arguing with Erpang classmate and wasted another 10 minutes. He temporarily hung up the call with classmate Li Erpang. Contact oral. Lele, are you ready to turn off the city's surveillance system? Hating City's surveillance system is relatively advanced, you know. Don't call me Lele, my name is Ou Lele. Ou Lele muttered unhappily, and then asked with a bit of anxiety, are you sure we can really do this? What if something happens? Thing. Don't worry, I will inform Zhao Yulong. Huh? When did it happen? Ou Lele couldn't help being startled when he heard this. How come I, Lele, don't know about such a big thing? Yulin, it's something that will happen later. Lele. 1855. Yulin looked at Zhao Yulong's profile picture silently. Forget it, let's report it later. Ahem. Yulin sat in the corner, overlooking the city. There was a bucket of popcorn at my feet. There are also 2 cups of hand-brewed coffee. It's a long night, and you have to make some preparations. This mandatory real-life mission is now on its 2nd day. If everything goes well, it can be solved tonight. If it doesn't go well, it wouldn't be surprising. Yilin looked at the time again. Yilin started remote command. Second fat classmate, please take your place. The second fat classmate, ka. In position. Get ready. Li Erpang spoke vaguely and seemed to be chewing something. Yilin slowly typed a question mark, but didn't pay attention. So I didn't ask any more questions. Classmate Ou Lele, please take your place. There seemed to be suppressed excitement in Ou Lele's voice. Ou Lele is in place. Click. The minute hand moves. Yilin smiled slightly, showtime. 1900. Hating City. Pudong District. Night falls. People come and go. Bustling. For the bustling Hating City, the lively nightlife has just begun at this time. Li Erpang finished gnawing a large bag of chicken legs on time. Although it is a synthetic high-quality protein, compared to the original fried chicken legs in Gotham City, classmate Li Erpang always feels that he is a bit inferior. Ah, it's still the original one. Li Erpang spat out the synthetic chicken bones and threw the garbage bag away. Suddenly he realized that this was not Gotham. There is no need to brush the crime value. So classmate Li Erpang dejectedly picked up the garbage and threw it into the smart trash can. The moment the smart trash can eats the garbage, it emits a synthesized voice as sweet as Maria Izawa's, "Thank you for feeding me, dear." Li Erpang decided to ignore this shameful AI voice. Damn you, who would be happy? Ha ha ha. Sizzling. A slight current noise suddenly came from the monitoring equipment overhead. To be precise, it should be that the surveillance equipment in the whole city was transmitting different levels of noise at the same time. It's useless. Okay. Li Erpang hid in the alley and slowly took out the prepared props from the storage space. While I felt a little uneasy, I also felt a little crazy pleasure. As an apostle, he is too comfortable in the real world. Go, go, go. Who is afraid of whom? Who is afraid of who? Huh? Look, look. What is that? Are you filming a movie? No, there aren't any cameras around. You are stupid. I heard that the latest mini tracking camera has been released. The purpose is to fully mobilize the emotions of the actors and strive to produce the most realistic effects. 666, is it true or false? A muscular figure appeared silently in the crowded Pudong district of Hating City. The lower body is normal. But on the man's head, he wore a funny big-eyed rabbit hood, with two faint holes dug out for the eyes. The rabbit's two pink ears stood up high, giving people a cute look. Cute feeling. Although this rabbit looks a little fat, its overall size is acceptable. Behind the big-eyed rabbit was a dark, narrow box, about 1 meter long, and it was unknown what was inside. The rabbit strode proudly on the busy street. Instantly attracted the attention of countless melon-eating people. After all, it's not comic show time now. When walking on the road, this outfit looks very ghostly compared to others. As a result, countless people immediately picked up their mobile phones out of habit and took crazy photos of the big-eyed rabbit in the bustling street. Damn it! Are you ready to be trending? Li Erpang was originally a little skeptical about Yilin's plan. But when I saw the reaction of the people, I immediately became happy. This is indeed an era when traffic is king. As long as you dare to fight, even a dog can be so furious. I never thought that I, Li Erpang, would one day become a star. The fat man thought happily. Although he also knew that he looked a little ashamed in this outfit. But that's not important. Anyway, with his face covered, no one would be able to recognize him. I guess even my fiery-eyed old man would have to weigh it a few times when he saw this hood. What a perfect disguise. Really perfect. No flaws. Li Erpang took the opportunity to pose in various poses for the camera. Be in a cheerful mood. Click click click. Li Erpang, wearing the big-eyed rabbit hood, was like a shining star at night in Hating City at this moment. Extraordinarily dazzling. Soon. Li Erpang's outfit immediately occupied the hot post position on Hating City's BBS at a terrifying speed. It instantly pushed down several other popular posts. By the way, before Li Erpang appeared, the original hot post was. Celebrity Li Changa was so jealous that his fanatic fans sent him lifelike and explosive dolls. The ladies' clothing boss is still searching tirelessly for a nimble, narrow-eyed fat man. Fatty June, please come and take away the cross-dressing boss quickly. Train C13 explodes, beep beep beep. Subsequent content has been 404D. Anyway. As soon as a new hot post appeared, it received hundreds of thousands of views and likes in just a few minutes. The speed at which it became popular was terrifying. Of course, what no one knows is. Lele is hiding behind the scenes, enjoying herself secretly. The traffic of other hot posts dropped without him realizing it. This operation is extremely simple for Orale. Otherwise, he is just a fat man wearing a balaclava. Under normal circumstances, it would be difficult to push down the hot posts of women's clothing boss. After all, compared to wearing a rabbit on his head, a cross-dressing man is more curious and more able to satisfy the masses. Shock. A fat rabbit with big eyes suddenly appeared on the streets of Pudong district, and the poster seriously suspected that he accidentally entered the street filming scene. There are pictures and the truth. Please be careful when entering more pictures. The post quickly went viral. 100,000. 200,000. Just 10 minutes. With Oral's promotion, Li Erpang's new look became popular on the Hating City BBS. Among them, another reason why this post became popular in a short period of time is that the Erpang classmate cooperated very well to pose various difficult poses. 1930. Half an hour passed quickly. At the same time, Zongji District, Hating City. Suzayasu still worked tirelessly to convince people with reason, and kept trying to find out where Li Erpang was. Although the process is a bit difficult, no living person dared to approach her within 50 meters. After all, Suzayasu's body type was a bit murderous. But that's not important. Suzayasu believes that as long as you work hard enough, an iron pestle can be ground into a needle. In the vast sea of people, it is not difficult to find Li Erpang as long as there is a chance. At this time, Suzayasu suddenly discovered there seemed to be something wrong with the atmosphere of the surrounding crowd. They all stared at their hands in unison, whispering about something with strange expressions on their faces. He seemed very happy. Suzayasu. She walked up quietly. There were several little girls sitting there. Giggle. He, this fat rabbit is so interesting. Could it really be a filming location? It's hard to say. Maybe it was a short video? I didn't expect it to become popular. Yeah, it became popular out of nowhere. While several little girls were browsing BBS hot posts, the colorful neon lights overhead were suddenly obscured by a large shadow. When they realized that their eyes had gone dark, they raised their heads subconsciously. They were all frightened and turned pale, calling for their mother one after another. Suzayasu tried her best to smile kindly. What are you looking at? Who is Fat Rabbit? Yes, you must be sick. I don't know how to read BBS. Although several little girls were frightened by Suzayasu, Suzayasu's lethality was undoubtedly weaker for women. After they reacted, they did not dare to stay where they were and left Suzayasu as quickly as possible. Hating City Forum. Suzayasu murmured to herself. She held the phone between her fingers, swiping across the screen with difficulty. Because the slap is too big. Finally opened the Hating City BBS. A popular post with millions of views caught Suzayasu's eyes. Suddenly, Suzayasu smiled sweetly. Finally found you. 1940. Zongji District. Mayor's Office. As we all know, the mayor of Hating City is named Li. At the same time, almost everyone in Hating City knows that the mayor of Hating City is also one of the 5 giants of the Z5 Council. After all, that is someone who often appears in the news. A single movement of his hand was enough to cause a major earthquake in the entire Dragon Kingdom. Master, it's not good. News has just been sent from various district police stations. It is said that around 1900 hours, the city's surveillance system was paralyzed almost at the same time due to some unknown reason. The technical team is now making repairs. Emergency repair? No need. A middle-aged man in plain clothes was sitting on an office chair with a smile and was browsing his mobile phone with great interest. A confidant of the Li family, who was also the mayor's most trusted male secretary, rushed in. Hearing this, he was immediately confused. No need. What's the meaning? Haha, don't worry about the monitoring system for now, Zayed, come and take a look at this. Although the male secretary had countless questions in his mind, since the mayor had spoken, the male secretary did not dare to say anything more. He approached silently and stood respectfully beside him. What the mayor was looking at on his phone was a very popular post on hating cities BBS. The male secretary didn't pay much attention at first. But as he watched, his eyes gradually widened. Xiaoda, do you see anything? The head of the family. The male secretary hesitated. With all due respect, at first glance, this guy wearing a bunny hood might look a bit like a fat young master. Be more confident and remove the words may be a bit similar. The middle-aged man rubbed his brows and put down the phone. That's my stupid son, what is he fussing about again? Is it really the young master? Forget it, ignore him for now. Other people have taken over the monitoring system. Please notify us. There is no need to repair it for the time being. There was a faint glint in the middle-aged man's eyes. Also, let the city's ambulances, fire brigade, and rescue teams be on standby at any time. Hating, these 2 days may not be peaceful. On the mayor's office computer interface. A read email has not yet been closed. The signer of the email is clearly Special Group, Oralet. Time flies. No matter how happy you are to be a star, there will always be times when you get tired of it. What's more, classmate Li Erpang had already been blinded by a large flash of light. While trying to squeeze through the crowd, he moved quickly in Pudong district. Hey, are you sure this is really okay? Fatty, I feel like I have no other use besides being photographed like a monkey. Haha, it's not a monkey, it's a fat rabbit with big eyes. Yilin corrected with a smile, and added at the same time, besides, I don't think you enjoyed it very much. My sister is happy. Are you happy when you see me with your eyes? Are you sure that other people really can't recognize me? Li Erpang started to feel a little unsure again. Don't worry, generally speaking, you can't recognize it. Unless, something very familiar. That's good, Li Erpang was comforted again by Yilin, and he finally felt relieved. Suddenly, Yilin's pupils shrank, and her voice suddenly became serious. Fat man, don't look back. Behind you, at 7 o'clock, about 50 meters away, there is a woman with red hair. Lick it. Infinity Throne. Author, by Yi Shueshi. Chapter 142. Li Erpang heard this. The pink rabbit ears trembled suddenly. Even a little fried. Woman. Zhang Huishun? Li Erpang has heard the story of Zhang Huishun. From Yilin's mouth. That's a ruthless man who climbed out of the morgue. That was a ruthless person who got involved in a mandatory reality mission for no reason. This kind of ruthless person who has violated the rules of heaven and cannot even be tolerated by the tower may be following behind. How can Li Erpang calm down? Zhang Huishun. Li Erpang shrank his belly. If Yilin hadn't reminded him immediately, he would have almost subconsciously wanted to turn around. But he finally resisted this action. At this time, he had no other choice but to follow Yilin's command. If one day he has a belly full of fat, Li Erpang might not be so panicked. But the point is, he doesn't have enough fat now. He has worked very hard to eat it. I eat it day and night. But how can it be so easy to eat a big white fat man again in a short while? Yilin squinted her eyes and looked at it for a moment. Uncertain. Apostle. The fat man asked again. There's a 70% chance. What the hell? 70%? Boss, don't be joking. Yilin chuckled, do you really think I am a god? Her behavior is a bit weird, but she is not an apostle. We have to wait until she takes action before we can be sure. Under the hood. The fat man couldn't help but roll his eyes. Of course, no one can see it under the nose. Who doesn't know that he has taken action? Can't they just kill the apostle with a thunderous gesture before they take action? How domineering! How direct! How decisive! Li Erpang felt a little jealous. But he didn't dare to move. Still walking at a normal pace on the busy streets. Many people saw Li Erpang's outfit and immediately recognized that this big-eyed fat rabbit was the current internet celebrity in Hating City, and they all took out their mobile phones to take pictures. There were even many bold and cute girls who came up directly to ask for a photo. At this moment, classmate Li Erpang felt that he had suddenly reached the pinnacle of his life. 30 meters. Yilin was very happy to see the fat man taking a photo with the cute girl. He ate a piece of popcorn and reminded him expressionlessly. Grass. The fat man had already turned his palms up. There are faint veins on the back of the palm. There was even a faint golden glow. Wait a minute, didn't you say you would take care of me on the side? Li Erpang finished his preparations and entered a serious state, feeling that there seemed to be a faint murderous intention approaching behind him. By the way, he couldn't help but ask again. Don't worry, I'll watch. Li Erpang looked around and murmured in a low voice, are you always around? Why didn't I see you? Yilin couldn't help but laugh. Did anyone notice me when I was bombing all over Gotham? Li Erpang was shocked when he heard this. You know the invisibility skill. Yilin smiled again, non-committal. However, classmate Li Erpang took Yilin's reaction as acquiescence and couldn't help shouting into the communication channel. Holy shit! Do you really have such a ruthless skill? Do you still have any humanity? This kind of skill, give Fatty one of these skills. Oh no, give me a dozen. Fatty willing to accept the punishment from heaven. I saw the red-haired woman slowly approaching behind Li Erpang. On the surface, she looked like a melon eater who was joining in the fun, holding a mobile phone in her hand. 30 meters. 20 meters. 10 m. The red-haired woman is getting closer and closer to classmate Li Erpang. Suddenly, the red-haired woman swayed, and in that instant, she moved several orders of magnitude faster. She stretched out her white palms and grabbed the black box carried on the back of classmate Li Erpang. Do it! Yilin kept watching the red-haired woman's movements. As soon as the red-haired woman made a move, she concisely reminded Li Erpang to take action. You're so slow. Li Erpang gritted his teeth. Before Yilin reminded him, he had already noticed a strong wind coming from behind. What a fast car! Ah no, what a fast palm! The goal of a woman is the box behind him. The fat man didn't understand at first why the red-haired woman came to grab the box in the first place instead of attacking him. Although Li Erpang was not as shrewd and cunning as Yilin, he was not stupid either. The moment the red-haired woman took action, Li Erpang vaguely understood something. Dare you sneak attack on me, your fat master? Li Erpang smiled coldly, turned around, and did not dodge the white and tender little hand that came towards him. Maybe it would be a bit satisfying to be hit, ahem. In short, Li Erpang planned to exchange injuries for injuries. Directly slapped the opponent's chest with a palm. This seemingly ordinary palm is not simple. At the very least, Li Erpang knew in his heart that this palm was not simple. With one palm strike, it can crack rocks, break gold, and kill people. Pooh. I don't know if it was Li Erpang's misunderstanding. When he took action, he clearly heard a disdainful sigh coming from the red-haired woman's mouth. Call out. In the midst of the lightning and flint, the red-haired woman was cautious. She didn't dare to take the fat man's slap without understanding the fat man's abilities. The little hand that was about to slap Li Er's chest stopped abruptly. In the blink of an eye, Li Erpang's eyes were dazzled when the red-haired woman turned over and jumped over Li Erpang's head and came to Li Erpang's back. Agility side. Li Erpang's heart sank. To be honest, among the three roots of apostles, Li Erpang is the least good at dealing with agile apostles. The reason is simple. Can't catch him. In other words, you can't chew to death. The red-haired woman's target was clearly the box behind Li Erpang. After ducking behind Li Erpang, she reached out and grabbed it from behind. Grass. Li Erpang cursed loudly, flew his palms, and stayed on the spot to fight with the red-haired woman. Anyway, you do the breasts, I do the breasts, no one loses. Li Erpang thought happily. But although Li Erpang's movements seem flexible, he is actually a solid power player without any moisture. In addition, Li Erpang now used his final trump card burn, fat. After consuming all the fat that he worked so hard to eat, the fat man at this moment is not in the best condition. If you are in attack, fat state, the other party's moves on his body were almost painless and itchy. Li Erpang was completely enjoying the other party's tickling while chewing the chicken drumstick. But now I feel a little bit sore. Li Erpang cursed loudly and slapped his opponent's after image. But the red-haired woman seemed to have noticed something was wrong with the fat man's fleshy palms. Not to mention whether it was slapped on Shame's chest, even if it was slapped on other places, it seemed to be uncomfortable. For a while, no one could do anything to anyone. While the two were fighting, the other melon-eating people were already dumbfounded when faced with this sudden change. No one would have thought that this scene, which they had only seen in movies, would now be played out in front of them. Damn it! Fatty can't stand it any longer. How can Li Erpang care about being exposed to countless cameras? But these words were not shouted for no reason, but said to Yilin in the communication channel. What about the assistant you promised? Did you agree to hide aside? Where are people? Where are people? What are you doing? Li Erpang felt as if he had been tricked by Yilin again. Although the fight between the two seemed extremely exciting, in fact, no matter who it was, no one dared to use two shocking skills in the street, even if the fat man covered his face with a hood. This is the default rule among the apostles, and it is also an unspoken rule. Sudden. The red-haired woman moved. He retreated quickly. Stay 10 meters away from Li Erpang. Li Erpang slapped the air with his palm, took a breath, and then turned his attention to the red-haired woman 10 meters away. Only then did Li Erpang finally see the red-haired woman's face. The red-haired woman wore an exquisite fox mask on her face, which almost covered her entire face, revealing only her delicate chin and two bright eyes. Fat rabbit. The red-haired woman suddenly raised her tone and shouted loudly, "Hurry up and hand over the weapon behind your back, otherwise, don't blame me, Red Fox, for being rude." Red Fox? Fat rabbit? Li Erpang looked confused. But right now, when the woman who called herself Red Fox spoke loudly, the melon-eating crowd who had gathered around to watch with gusto suddenly realized. It's true that we are filming. Is this the legendary location? Is it so advanced? One shot to the end? Awesome. Much more awesome than those people nowadays who just hide in the studio and play with special effects. 6666. What movie is it? When will it be released? Fat Rabbit vs. Red Fox? What kind of weird plot is this? Is this a little story that Judy and Nick have to tell? Under the hood of Fat Rabbit. Li Erpang opened his mouth wide. Finally figured it out. How can you still play like this? Talent. At this time, Li Erpang's pupils suddenly shrank. He turned back subconsciously. Behind. Left. Right. 3 men walked out separately. 2 tall and 1 short. And on the faces of the 3 men, they were also wearing weird masks, hiding their true faces. The man wearing a black cute tiger mask, Black Tiger. The man wearing a yellow monkey mask, Kizaru. The last one was a short man wearing a green snake head mask. His voice sounded like he was young, "I am Green Snake." 4 apostles. Li Erpang suddenly had the idea of beating Yilin to death. He is not like the people who eat melons. The atmosphere becomes more and more enthusiastic and happy. Li Erpang's heart became more and more solemn. In normal times, Li Er was fat and thick-skinned, and it was not impossible for him to try against the four apostles if the other party did not have any special skills. It's not like I'm going to get pregnant anyway. But in this case, it's no different than asking for death. You still won't take action. Li Erpang squinted his eyes, gritted his teeth and roared in a low voice on the voice channel. Escape as much as you can. I'll pick you up from the side. Yilin looked calm and was not surprised by what happened in front of her. 4 men and 1 woman? Is there Zhang Huishan in it? The other party didn't seem to be a fool. He knew he was going to do something inappropriate, but he wasn't stupid enough to expose his true colors. After all, in the clear world, once the identity of the apostle is exposed in front of everyone, the follow-up will be extremely troublesome. Unless the other party can find an apostle with abilities similar to Oral's to help them completely erase the traces that have appeared in the real world. Yilin held up the telescope, overlooking the city. His eyes did not just fall on the dedicated actors such as Fat Rabbit, Black Tiger, Red Fox, Green Snake, and Huang Yuan. The other side. Li Erpang got Yilin's answer. Inexplicably, I felt a little relieved. From the boy's tone, it seemed that he didn't intend to sell himself out. Only. The weapon they were talking about, could it be the box on his back? Thinking of this, Li Erpang's tone became tough. Maybe it's the atmosphere. Or maybe it's because of the lines. In short, without realizing it, this sense of immersion came inexplicably. Li Erpang smiled coldly, you guys are the only ones who escaped from the zoo. When the Red Fox heard this, he was a little speechless, aren't you the same? Li Erpang. Sudden. Li Erpang moved. He didn't continue to talk nonsense. He stepped hard like a tank and the ground shook slightly. In the blink of an eye, the fat classmate no longer concealed his strength, and used the force of this step to make up for his lack of agility, and crashed into the Red Fox's arms like a cannonball. There is actually a trick to using less to get more. Especially someone like Li Erpang, who has rough skin and thick flesh. When you are being beaten, you don't actually need to think about how to beat everyone down. Li Erpang only had to stare at one of them, hold onto it, and beat him to death, one by one first. That's the trick. There is no trick to the trick. During that collision, the golden light flowed between Li Erpang's right palm, which was like gold and iron. With a fierce momentum, he slapped the Red Fox's chest directly. The moment Li Erpang took out his palm, no one saw him. Under the rabbit hood, Li Erpang's expression became sacred and solemn, no longer as wretched as before. Caught off guard, Red Fox also didn't expect that Li Erpang would be so decisive when surrounded by 4 apostles, and directly chose her breasts to attack. Pervert. This fat scumbag. Scum. What she didn't expect was that during the short fight just now, Li Erpang had hidden his strength and did not fully display his proper attributes. So insidious. What a sinister fat man. Snap, snap, snap. It's too late, it's fast. In an instant, Li Erpang's fleshy palm directly hit the Red Fox's chest. The Red Fox opened its mouth and spat out a large mouthful of blood. Its chest collapsed, making a crisp sound, and flew out directly, disappearing into the crowd. This fighting action is so realistic. Dedicated. You can't tell it's an act at all. What kind of movie is this? I've never heard of this movie being filmed recently. In this day and age, is there any conscientious crew that doesn't hold a grand opening ceremony to build momentum before filming starts? After the Red Fox vomited blood and flew away, the melon eaters who formed a circle around it all let out exclamations. It's so realistic. After Li Erpang slapped the Red Fox away, he rubbed his palms and felt something was wrong. It's too soft, Ah, it's too cottony. That palm didn't really hit the spot at all. Just before the red fox was about to be photographed, he quickly retreated in an instant, slightly relieving Li Erpang of his strength. Is he also a Lianjiazi? Li Erpang didn't dare to stay, so he jumped directly into the air, leaping over the heads of the crowd. The speed was so fast that people couldn't imagine it. In the blink of an eye, after a few ups and downs, he disappeared around the corner of the street. Damn it! Yilin, your sister. We agreed to take care of her. After Li Erpang went around the alley, he almost dropped the box behind him out of anger. Aren't you okay? After seeing that Fatty was fine, Yilin searched around as quickly as possible. I took a sip of hand-brewed coffee. Chase. Over there. The red fox was slapped and vomited blood. The green snake, the yellow ape, and the black tiger glanced at the red fox on the ground, and without hesitation, they directly chased the fat man in the same way he escaped. The short green snake smiled slightly, and in full view of everyone, its body color gradually changed, and disappeared in front of everyone in the blink of an eye. Such realistic special effects directly showed off the faces of the surrounding audiences, who quickly took photos and uploaded them to BBS. Yilin took in this scene. Fat man, that, green snake, may be on the agility side or the mental side. He has an invisibility ability similar to camouflage. I don't know if it is because of technology or apostle skills, so be careful. When Li Erpang heard this, he couldn't help but say F***ck. But the fat man is uneducated and can travel all over the world with just one word. Li Erpang ran away without hesitation. Very agile. If there was enough fat, the fat man might still be able to compete, but now that his belly is not big enough, Fatty Li would not be stupid enough to fight against the four apostles. Oh no, 3. There was a girl who had just been photographed by him. The other side. Under the red fox mask, his face was pale. While coughing up blood. Ahem, that damn fat guy, was so ruthless. The red fox looked at the health value that was almost at the bottom. He was horrified, but at the same time he was secretly grateful. In the initial test of each other, this damn fat man only used 50% of his strength. If she hadn't used her body skills to remove half of the strength in the last palm, maybe she wouldn't have been able to retain her remaining health. Ascend to heaven. Wow. This blood is so realistic. This crew is so conscientious. I would like to call it the strongest crew. Does anyone know what kind of movie this is? The fighting effects are amazing, the blood is spitting out so realistically. Wait, step aside, I'll take a photo first. Maybe when it's officially released, I can catch the popularity of the behind the scenes. The melon-eating crowd gathered around to watch. Although they felt that the blood vomited by the red fox was extremely realistic and steaming, due to their preconceived notions, they did not think that the red fox was actually slapped half to death by the fat rabbit. Get out of the way, get out of the way. At this time, a tall and graceful figure squeezed through the crowd and walked in. It's a woman. Make way, I'm a doctor, I'm here to see the injured. She is a beautiful young woman. She was wearing high heels and carrying a white metal first aid kit. Are you okay? The woman walked up to the red fox and asked in a concerned tone. Get away. The red fox is not in the mood to get entangled with ordinary people. Now her companion has gone after Fat Rabbit. If her companion gets the spirit-possessed weapon. Thinking of this, a cold light flashed across the red fox's eyes. The woman was pushed by the red fox and staggered, falling to the ground. The first aid kit rolled right at the red fox's feet. The red fox coughed up 2 more mouthfuls of blood. The rib appears to have punctured the lung. She simply assessed her injuries. By the way, first aid kit. Only then did she remember that she seemed to have pushed away a woman who claimed to be a doctor. First aid kit? First aid kit? There should be painkillers and hemostatic drugs in there, right? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Infinity Throne. Author, by Yi Xueshi. Chapter 143. OLELEOLE. Where's the fat man? The scene became chaotic. Yulin was dazzled just by looking at it with her naked eyes, so she had no choice but to ask Oulele for help. After all, Oulele can now be said to control the surveillance system of Pudong district. About 200 meters north of Pudong People's Square. Huh! Oulele suddenly screamed. Kaka! Yulin munched on the popcorn and typed a question mark. The fat man actually stopped by and bought a 3-layer burger with meat from the self-service burger machine. Of course, Olele is also paying close attention to Fatty's actions. Suck. Others, have you noticed anything weird? Click click click. Not yet, suck. Yulin heard the voice from Oral's side seemed a little strange, and couldn't help but ask one more question, are you eating ice cream balls again? Kaka kaka. Can't you? Olele silently licked another mouthful and said vaguely, aren't you still drinking Moonback's hand-brewed coffee and nibbling popcorn? Yulin suddenly turned around. There happened to be a camera facing him behind him. 1 second later, Yulin turned her head silently again. Continue to overlook the entire Pudong district. Found it? Yulin's pupils narrowed. Under Oulele's command, Yulin locked his eyes on Li Erpang's figure again. I saw Li Erpang passing by a self-service burger machine. He spent 20 seconds making a DIY burger as fast as he could and continued to run away while chewing it. Yulin could also roughly guess what Li Erpang was thinking. His current skill line can be summed up in 2 words. Fat. Although it was a sudden rush and there was no time to digest it, even just a little bit more would increase the possibility of saving one's life. Apparently, those masked apostles who ran out of the zoo also drove the fat man into panic. At the same time, on Hating City BBS, the mysterious Conscience crew landed in Hating City. Fat Rabbit, Red Fox, Green Snake, Black Tiger, and Yellow Ape stage a thrilling fight scene on the street, etc. Related posts remain highly popular. It is estimated that anyone in Hating City who has access to the internet and is not blind knows about this. There are pictures and there is truth. There are even various short videos. Even more exaggerated. Many people have taken advantage of this wave of popularity and started selling Fat Rabbit, Red Fox, Green Snake, Black Tiger, and Yellow Ape headgear online. There is no difference between one and one, dear. If Li Erpang had had time to open BBS and take a look at this matter, he would probably be proud of himself for becoming a popular internet celebrity in Hating City overnight. Only, the fat man is very busy. And not empty. Black Tiger and Huang Yuan silently stopped in front of Li Erpang. Li Erpang devoured the DIY burger, squinting his eyes and twitching the corners of his mouth slightly. Hand over your weapons and we'll still be good friends. Black Tiger chuckled. Who the hell are good friends with you? Li Erpang smiled coldly. But I am thinking about the possibility of this proposal. Is it worth taking the risk for Yulin's so-called plan? Suddenly, Li Erpang's pupils suddenly shrank. A figure silently changed colors behind him. Behind the originally empty space, a colorful figure suddenly appeared. Yes. Green Snake. The green snake that mysteriously disappeared among the crowd. The moment the green snake appeared, he opened his mouth and bit into the fat on Li Er's neck. Grass. Although Li Erpang reacted, he was half a beat slower. Only after he felt a slight numbness in his neck did he have time to slap the green snake behind him that had bitten him. Hey hey. The short apostle who called himself Green Snake, after taking a bite, smiled sinisterly, as if he had anticipated the fat man's movements, and quickly retreated away without any hesitation, letting the fat man slap the air with an angry palm. When Black Tiger and Huang Yuan saw that the green snake had bitten Li Erpang, the killing intent from both of them weakened, and they breathed a sigh of relief at the same time. "I'm messing with you, uncle, are you a dog? I don't like this." After Li Erpang forced the lewd green snake away with one palm, he couldn't help but cursed. He touched his neck and found a piece of sticky saliva. In an instant, he felt as if he had eaten shit. "I, Li Erpang, have a great reputation all my life, damn, damn, damn." He was actually bitten by a man. There is a shallow tooth mark on the neck. The wound was not deep. Not even a wound. Green Snake smiled and said, "Don't you know that snake fangs are poisonous?" Poison. When Li Erpang heard this, his heart sank. Gradually, a numbness, like an electric shock, quickly spread from the wound to the limbs. Green Snake continued, "My ability is this tooth. My salivary glands contain neurotoxins. Although your defense is high and I can't bite through your blood vessels, as long as I can break the skin, you should be infected some neurotoxins. If I'm not wrong, you've started to feel it now, right?" Li Erpang. Li Erpang wears a cute hood, making it difficult for people to see his expression and eyes clearly. But Green Snake was not a novice. He knew very well the panic, hesitation, and helplessness in Li Erpang's heart after he found out that he had been poisoned. Even enjoyment. Snakes are born hunters. His skill set, coincidentally, seems to be very compatible with this creature. That's why he calls himself Green Snake. "I'm poisoned." After a moment of silence, Li Erpang suddenly said. But this sentence was said to Yilin on the communication channel. The implication is, "If you don't take action, I'll be in trouble." Yilin put down the popcorn in her hand. Of course he would not watch the fat man being beaten to death by several apostles. Green Snake, Yellow Ape, Black Tiger. Yilin quickly analyzed Fatty's position and speculated on the abilities of the three apostles. Green Snake seems to be somewhat similar to Yilin, a latent assassination apostle. Kizaru and Black Tiger have not yet taken action, and their abilities and attributes are currently unknown. After a few seconds, Yilin smiled slightly. Staring into the distance, he was about to take action. Suddenly, Yilin made a move and couldn't help laughing. Yilin's inexplicable laughter came from the voice call. This kind of laughter was a bit familiar, as if he had heard it in Gotham somewhere, and Li Erpang's heart skipped a beat. Somehow, when Li Erpang heard Yilin's laughter, he had a bad premonition. "It seems there's no need for me to take action." Li Erpang. Yilin smiled and said, "Someone's wife is coming to the rescue." Li Erpang. Just when Yilin finished saying this. Boom. Boom boom. Boom, boom, boom. Ground. It's shaking. And the source of vibration. It actually came from behind Kizaru and Black Tiger. The green snake forms a triangle with the yellow ape and the black tiger. Surround the fat rabbit in the middle. Behind Kizaru and Black Tiger, in other words, it's the front of Green Snake. Green Snake suddenly trembled, his eyes widened, he stretched out his fingers, and his lips trembled slightly, then, you. Black Tiger. Kizaru. Boom, boom, boom. Shock. Behind you. Like a small motor. Black Tiger and Kizaru also noticed something was wrong. The two of them turned around as quickly as possible. But in an instant, a fist as big as a casserole appeared in front of both of them. Boom. Under the masks, the two men instantly had nosebleeds and flew out. Li Erpang. Stunned. In the original position of the black tiger and the yellow ape, a figure nearly 2 meters tall, like a giant, and like a god descending from the earth, appeared in front of everyone, and instantly attracted everyone's attention. Su, Su, brother Su? No doubt. This figure, this casserole-sized fist. It's brother Su. Although Li Erpang was rescued by Suziya Su, he had no happy thoughts at all. Even the fat classmate was so frightened that his neck jerked back into his body. Etc. Don't panic. Don't be anxious. Calm down. Calm down. I'm so thin now and I'm wearing a fat rabbit hood. Brother Su shouldn't be able to recognize me, right? No, fatty you have to be confident and remove the word should. Brother Su will never recognize it, absolutely, absolutely. She must have just been passing by. When the road was rough, she reached out to help. That must be it. Li Erpang endured the numbness and weakness in his limbs and whispered to himself, with countless thoughts running through his mind. Simply. Are you pretending not to know me? Li Erpang coughed twice and said to Suziya Su in a hoarse and low voice, sister, thank you. In any case, Suziya Su is now wearing an oversized pure white lace dress. Although she is suspected of being a cross-dressing boss, since Li Erpang is determined to pretend not to know her, there is nothing wrong with calling her sister. Suziya Su silently put away her fists. He glanced at Erpang classmate. The curved eyebrows frowned slightly. But he quickly asked in a sweet voice, second fatty, have you caught a cold? Li Erpang. This sweet voice, such a strong contrast, no matter how many times you hear it, it makes people think that this character is extremely evil. Who the hell told me that no one would recognize it? Who is it? Who is it? Who is it? Ah! Li Erpang trembled all over and wanted to struggle for his life and pretend for a while longer. But Suziya Su shook a grey card directly towards Li Erpang. Li Erpang took it easily. At this time, from where Black Tiger and Kizaru were knocked away by a punch, the two got up with a bit of embarrassment and murderous intent. The fight between several people was delayed and rushed. Just a few minutes. Soon. Then another group of people gathered around. Among the onlookers, some even recognized the recent internet celebrity Suziya Su. Huh? Isn't that the legendary cross-dressing boss wandering around Zongja district? I heard she's been looking for a flexible fat man with squinting eyes. Is it just Fat Rabbit? Wow. This is really a touching love story. I wish all lovers in the world will finally get married. I wish you sisters. I wish you lovers will eventually become brothers and sisters. Li Erpang listened depressedly to the discussions around him, and was so angry that he almost vomited blood. But he also subconsciously looked at the card that just flew out of Suziya Su's hand. It doesn't matter if you don't see it. When he saw it, the fat classmate was instantly shocked. Crazy Lich's huge potion. Grade rare. Effect click to view details. Instructions click to view details. The first thing that surprised Li Erpang was the effect of this potion. Is it outrageous? But, of what use is it to others? Forget it, no matter how spicy it is. Li Erpang would like to give you an overview. The world in this world is really full of all kinds of weird 3-no products. The second surprising thing is, how did Suziya Su know that he needed a body of fat? The more the better? Logically speaking, Li Erpang's skill content should be his biggest secret. Suziya Su shouldn't know. Under the mask, Li Erpang's expression was uncertain. Unexpectedly, Suziya Su smiled slightly. You would be better looking if you were fatter. Li Erpang. It turned out to be, for this reason? Li Erpang's heart trembled slightly. But at this moment, the enemy was right in front of him, so Li Erpang did not show any pretense. He directly crushed the potion card, raised his head and drank the unpleasant-tasting potion in one gulp. To other people, it is a fattening drug that they cannot avoid, but in the hands of the fat man, it is a super prop that can be compared to a magical weapon. Coming, coming, coming. The moment he took the potion, the fat man suddenly burped. Immediately afterwards, a stream of heat surged out from his stomach, rushed straight to the Tianling cap, and then rushed towards his crotch. This is the power of prehistoric times. In an instant, Li Erpang's body expanded rapidly like a balloon. Not to mention the onlookers, even Green Snake, Black Tiger, and Huang Yuan, who had witnessed the change in Li Erpang's figure, looked confused. This a tool that can make people become fat in one gulp? What is the use? Fat Master is back. Li Erpang took a step forward, and the fat all over his body trembled violently. In the blink of an eye, his weight suddenly increased by hundreds of kilograms. Without eating, under the stimulation of the magic potion, Li Erpang returned to his peak weight. He, Li Erpang, is finally back. In the most serious manner. The melon-eating crowd saw this. Keep eating melon. What special effect is this? Isn't it too realistic? My blind guess is that it should be some kind of special effects costume. The kind with a delicate body and a soft body that can blow air. Ah, this era of advanced technology is really full of wonders. Suzaya's eyes lit up. Kick, kick, kick. He walked to the fat man's side in a few steps. The night is sultry. Li Erpang vaguely seemed to recall that night in Gotham. The nursing home twin tanks used their bodies of steel to block the scene of more than a dozen old legends in Gotham. I couldn't help but feel a little emotional. It's just Brother Sue's outfit. Li Erpang glanced quietly and couldn't help but shudder. Really a master of women's clothing. The yellow ape, the black tiger, and the green snake all looked livid under the animal masks. How could they not see that Suzayasu, who was 2 meters tall, was difficult to deal with? Kizaru and Black Tiger knew better. After all, how much health was knocked off by one punch? This is real damage. There is absolutely no way to fake it. Green Snake suddenly smiled, and he suddenly made several strange gestures towards Kizaru and Black Tiger. Black Tiger and Kizaru nodded. The two men no longer concealed their strength, and moved towards Li Erpang from two directions, like cannonballs. At the same time, Green Snake seemed to have finished its skill CD, and entered the camouflage state again, and began to sneak. Li Erpang moved his hands and feet. Although they were still a little numb, it did not affect his activities too much. It seemed that the opponent's teeth had not been specially strengthened. The sudden bite did not bite too deep, and not many neurotoxins invaded the body. A more likely reason is that Li Erpang's will attribute is not low, and he also has a certain resistance to toxins. Under the influence of total factors, Li Erpang can still be active and active now. Fat Master is afraid of you. Li Erpang laughed loudly, and his smile gradually became abnormal. Facing the two apostles who were charging towards him, Li Erpang did not dodge and faced them head-on. Bang bang bang. The two of them seemed to be the same as Li Erpang, they were also apostles on the power side. They didn't have many fancy skills, and they only punched to the core. But the two men's attacks landed on Li Erpang's fat. Although it hurt a little, Li Erpang took the time to glance at the slowly declining health points. He was not at all panicked and directly used a pair of fleshy palms to push against the opponent's fist. Pat them on both of them. Ba. Bo ya jackfruit. Dare you compete with Fatty for your master's wife? Ba. Although Suzayasu's agility attribute was not high, together with Li Erpang, they raised their fists and smashed the masks of Black Tiger and Huang Yuan mercilessly. Suzayasu had punched her hard just now, and their masks had already been broken in half. They also deeply remembered the power of Suzayasu's fist, and they did not dare to have anal sex with Suzayasu. However, Kizaru and Black Tiger became more and more frightened as they fought. What kind of monsters are these two couples? Not to mention that the fist fell on Fatty. Apart from yelling and uttering dirty words, Fatty's movements became more and more flexible, and he didn't show any signs of fatigue. It was as if the fat on his body was the fat man's armor. When he punched him, it was like hitting cotton, and he couldn't feel the feeling of being punched into the flesh at all. Let's talk about Suzayasu. Is this devil's character really okay? Barbie King Kong, right? Black Tiger and Huang Yuan's fists fell on Suzayasu, as if they were hitting an iron plate. Oh no! It's an alloy plate. Although the two of them did not have particularly lethal skills, after being strengthened several times, they could make a punch mark on an ordinary iron plate with one punch. But Suzayasu couldn't knock it at all. It's so hard, damn. Another place. Yilin has been observing the battle situation. After Suzayasu joined in and inexplicably made Li Erpang gain weight again, the situation of the battle was reversed in a short period of time, and the two of them had the upper hand. Are these guys who came out of the zoo so watery? Or is it because they are too strong as a couple? Yilin murmured. Suddenly, Yilin noticed something was wrong. Not to mention the hidden green snake. The actions of the two power apostles, Black Tiger and Kizaru, seem. Wait a minute, where is the fat man? Yilin's pupils shrank slightly. He directly raised the telescope and speculated backwards from the position where the fat man was gradually being tilted. Really? On top of another building. A dark figure, like a ghost, lay motionless on the top of the building. But Li Erpang was led to the most empty place intentionally or unintentionally. Unobstructed location. From the dark figure to Li Erpang's position, there is almost a straight line, which can be seen at a glance. From the figure at the top of the building, a cold reflection shone slightly on Yilin's retina through the telescope. Sniper. Fat man. Be careful. There is a sniper. Yilin's pupils shrank, and without hesitation, she directly reminded classmate Li Erpang on the communication channel. Li Erpang. The moment he heard the word sniper, Li Erpang's whole body trembled. To be honest, if Yilin hadn't suddenly reminded him, Li Erpang, who was getting excited with his palms, would have almost forgotten Yilin's existence. This kid is completely paddling and has no sense of presence at all. Yilin had no time to take into account the anger of classmate Li Erpang. After he discovered the sniper's figure, he directly pointed his telescope at that figure. Enlarge. Zoom in again. Long black hair, a resolute face, an angular chin, a cold smile. As a sniper, this appearance is very qualified. However, none of this matters. The disaster-haunted skill description is very clear: as long as the target is within sight, it will take effect. This is the real power of this skill. Theoretically, there is no distance limit. Let the world feel pain from now on. Yilin smiled slightly. Before activating the skill, Yilin turned off the voice chat with Li Erpang. Infinity Throne. Author, by Yi Shueshi. Chapter 144. The moment Yilin activated her skill, an invisible and colorless force, as if using the sight of a telescope as a medium, turned into the power of voyeurism. Oh no, it was the power transformed into a skill, which directly acted on the sneaky sniper on the top floor of the building in the distance. After releasing the skill, Yilin's spiritual energy value was directly reduced by 160 points. It was also Yilin's first time to use a telescope to release disaster-ridden, and she happened to study the difference from the normal release method. So Yilin didn't bother to pay attention to the deducted spiritual energy value, and didn't look away from the figure at all. After releasing the skill, the sniper hiding in the shadow was shocked, as if he had seen a ghost, and stretched out his hand to rub his eyes continuously. Blinding. I'm not very lucky to be in this negative state that is neither painful nor itchy. Yilin's face was expressionless. Raise your hand. Ready for the second round. According to custom, calamity haunting is often used continuously, so that the taste can achieve the best effect. From now on, huh? Yilin's second shot, disaster-ridden, was only halfway prepared. The sniper who was rubbing his eyes shook violently again. Immediately afterwards, he dropped the sniper rifle in his hand and danced and spun in circles on the rooftop for no apparent reason. Turn and turn, turn and turn. The sniper stepped in the air and landed on the edge of the rooftop while the magic circled around. Snapped. Ah. Pia. G. Well. Unexpectedly, more than one negative effect was magically triggered, making Yilin, who was accustomed to single shots, freeze for a second. It turns out that more than one negative effect really exists. If it hadn't been triggered once today, Yilin would have thought it was just a legend. It's possible that the sniper classmate's luck attribute is lower than mine. Most likely. In the square, student Li Erpang burst out with nimble steps. While using his palms to deal with the two power apostles, he did not dare to stay in the same place for more than 1 second and jumped up and down. He was such a nimble fat man. Although he has returned to his peak weight now. But sniper bullets can be aimed at the head and fired. Li Erpang had little fat on his head and was not confident in using his head to carry the sniper bullet. Will die. Toot toot. Yilin re-established a voice call with classmate Li Erpang. Puchi, Li Erpang didn't look relaxed. He was breathing heavily, and while clapping his hands, he asked nervously, "Where is the sniper? Why don't you make a sound?" "Well, no more." "Gone?" "Fatty, I'm still alive and kicking, how can you say I'm gone?" When Li Erpang heard this, he screamed angrily. "I mean, the sniper is gone." After a pause, Yilin tried to describe it more carefully, "The sniper is gone." Li Erpang squinted his eyes. Hearing this, he couldn't help but be shocked. It had only been less than half a minute since Yilin's warning. Then the sniper was gone? How did that kid do it? Is it really true that he has been hiding next door? Damn it, it's so secretive. Aren't countless women from good families in a very dangerous situation? Li Erpang immediately thought of a very serious problem. Black Tiger punched out. The fist wind whistled. Join forces with Kizaru to force Fatty to the designated sniping location. The crowd of onlookers is getting bigger and bigger. If they don't deal with the fat man quickly and get the box containing the spirit-possessed weapon behind the fat man, they may attract armed forces from the real world. Even they may not be able to do it. Able to escape intact. Thinking of this, Kizaru and Black Tiger attacked more and more fiercely, regardless of defense. Gradually, the two of them received a lot of slaps from the fat man, and their health points dropped. What the hell, where are the green snake and the red fox man? Black Tiger smiled disdainfully, that woman is just a wallflower and a bitch. She might have left long ago if she was injured. Hey, by the time we get the spirit-possessed weapon, that stinky woman won't get any credit at all. Don't even think about us. Get your share of the pie. Hee, that's right. As Kizaru spoke, he slapped the fat man forcefully, and at the same time, he also punched Li Erpang's well-developed chest fat. The fat man instantly grunted and was forcefully punched several meters away. Arrive. Arrive. Kizaru and Black Tiger's eyes lit up. Couldn't help but say at the same time. The fat man rubbed his chest. The fat shook and it hurt a little. With 1 against 2, and they were also power side apostles, Li Erpang did feel a little uncomfortable when his attribute values did not reach the crushing level. If he hadn't taken advantage of his skills and if Suzayasu had brought a bottle of Crazy Lich's huge magic potion at the critical moment, Li Erpang might have been knocked out of his health by the combined efforts of the two. Where's Brother Su? While Li Erpang was rubbing his small chest, for some reason, Kizaru and Black Tiger suddenly stopped attacking, as if they were waiting for something. The fat man was also happy to rest for a while and finally had time to observe the situation over Suzayasu's side. I saw Suzayasu standing 20 meters away with an expressionless face. The muscles on her body that looked like steel bars were covered with many shallow teeth marks, and the green snake actually used its own power to entangle the slow-moving Suzayasu. And a lot of neurotoxins were injected into Suzayasu's body. If it's a mouthful or two, considering Suzayasu's physique and resistance, it shouldn't have much impact. But Green Snake looked sneaky, and he didn't expect that he was a warrior who dared to face the dripping blood. He was able to swallow Suzayasu's terrifying muscles. Take a bite, hide, pop up again, take a bite, hide again. And so on. Suzayasu's steps were dragged out. Warrior. The fat man sighed. And silently gave the enemy a like. Li Erpang briefly imagined the feeling of biting Suzayasu. I shuddered subconsciously. So I gave Comrade Qingxi another like. But Li Erpang didn't know. Green Snake had long been secretly complaining, but in fact he had retreated countless times. His teeth are not specially enhanced, they are just ordinary teeth. He chewed on Suzayasu's muscles one bite at a time. Several of the poor teeth in the upper and lower rows had already been chipped out, and his mouth was filled with blood. My own blood. Even in order to prevent the fallen teeth from revealing his whereabouts, Green Snake swallowed one after another of the teeth that Suzayasu's muscles collapsed. My heart aches. What on earth did this cross-dressing guy get his muscles from? Are there such awesome hormones? Give me 2 bottles of Hunden too. Another minute passed. Li Erpang gasped for a while. Seeing that the 2 Zhu apostles, Kizaru and Black Tiger, were still dumbfounded, they finally couldn't help but ask loudly, "Hey, 2 brothers, have you rested enough? Let's continue the show after resting enough? The audience hasn't done it yet, I've seen enough." Yeah. The melon-eating crowd gathered around and watched with gusto. There were even many business-minded guys who temporarily wholesaled snacks such as melon seed soda nearby and sold them at the scene of the fight, charging prices on the spot. Hey! Not to mention, sales are really good. Li Erpang's shout immediately made countless viewers echo. Stop paddling, brother. The camera is filming. What should I do if Brother Fat Rabbit is forced to NG with your stroke like this? It's all Black Tiger and Kizaru's fault. Maybe it's the time's fault. Hurry up and shoot, hurry up and shoot, we are still waiting for the movie to be released. Look after you. Give you a thumbs up. 666. Countless people have called for all the hard-working actors. What no one knows is, Kizaru and Black Tiger were already in disarray in the wind. Stupid in place. Because, in their communication list, the name of the companion who was nicknamed Eagle Eye and who had not yet had time to appear in this reality show that attracted millions of people's attention, turned out to be black. Being black means being offline. And among the apostles, going offline, is forever. Hawkeye, is dead. How did you die? Black Tiger and Kizaru were shaken all over. And at the same time, outside the crowd of onlookers, there was an inexplicable commotion coming from a certain direction. It's not good, it's not good. Someone jumped off the building. Someone jumped off the building because they couldn't think of it. The one who jumped off the building was a strong man. Kizaru. Black Tiger. Green Snake. The several masked men and women surrounded by the crowd suddenly fell into a brief awkward silence. Black Tiger, it's quite sudden. Kizaru, indeed, quite sudden. A moment of silence for the Hawkeye classmates who were too late to appear. Green Snake suddenly became furious. What are you still doing? Grab the weapon. Suzayasu suddenly smiled. The death of the apostle who was too late to appear made the 3 people, Green Snake, Huang Yuan, and Black Tiger, who had planned to follow the plan, become confused. And the Green Snake, which had been lurking in the dark with its weird camouflage skill and taking a bite of Suzayasu from time to time, actually forgot that he had not turned on the voice call and roared loudly. Suzayasu smiled slightly and took 2 steps towards her side in an instant, each step causing a terrible tremor on the ground. When Green Snake came to his senses, Suzayasu had already covered a distance of several meters with 2 long strides. The benefits of height, long legs and muscular development. I saw Suzayasu's fist as big as a casserole, instantly transformed into a palm as big as a cattail leaf fan, and with a sharp sound of wind, he grabbed the air around him without hesitation. Puff. Click click click. In the deserted place, Suzayasu seemed to have pinched a small ball with one hand, and at the same time there was a muffled groan from the palm of his hand, and a bone-grinding sound that made people feel sour. Boom. Suzayasu looked calm, pinched the invisible ball in her hand, and smashed it at her feet. Boom. In an instant, centered around Suzayasu's feet, the ground suddenly collapsed, and a human-shaped pit was actually pressed out by Suzayasu. In the human-shaped pit, after a burst of color changes, a short figure covered in blood appeared limply in the human-shaped pit. It's a green snake. After accidentally revealing her position by speaking out, Suzayasu, who had been hiding all this time, suddenly seized the only opportunity and killed Qingxi's classmate in an instant. Suzayasu frowned, as if she felt a little unsafe, and squeezed again with her palms. Click click click. The green snake fainted happily. After dealing with the green snake, Suzayasu turned back and looked at Li Erpang. I saw Li Erpang already proudly posing in various victory poses to greet the flashing lights around him. Where are they? Suzayasu asked softly. Run away. Li Erpang said in a matter-of-fact tone. Right now. Boom. Another place in Pudong district. This is where Li Erpang first came into contact with the zoo team. Suddenly there was a violent explosion. The fire is soaring into the sky. Yulin had been observing the battle situation on Li Erpang's side and kept enough psychic energy so that he could control the field at any time. But when Yulin heard the explosion, she quickly turned the scope of the telescope to the place where the explosion came from. There. It had long been obscured by a blaze of fire. Yulin. Oulele suddenly sent a panicked contact. Brother, it's bad. It exploded. The place where the fat man first appeared, exploded. I know. Yulin didn't care about Li Erpang at the moment. After all, Li Erpang's side was gradually no longer in danger. However, the explosion site was obscured by a fire, and the crowd fled one after another. They were dead and injured, and Yulin couldn't see clearly what happened. Although you can't see clearly. But Yulin understood one thing instantly. Zhang Huishun appeared. Finally. Waited all night. The fat man worked as an internet celebrity all night. Everything was Yulin's plan. A plan to bring out Zhang Huishun. In the vast sea of people, it is undoubtedly more difficult to find Zhang Huishun quietly than to find a needle in a haystack. But if it is speculated that Zhang Huishun also has a certain mission, Yulin has no other option except throwing out bait in the sea of people like fishing and waiting for Zhang Huishun to take the bait. This hook. It's the fat classmate. Even if Zhang Huishun knew that he might be fishing, he might not be able to resist being caught because of his mission. At that point, it depends on whether the angler is more skilled or the fish are more slippery. This time, Yulin did not hide anything from Li Erpang about other parts of the plan except for her ability. After all, Li Erpang's role is extremely dangerous. Zhang's rejuvenation abilities, enhancements, skills, and even his identity are all unknown. As a bait, Li Erpang is very likely to have an accident and die in the process of acting. Fortunately, except for the explosion that was beyond Yulin's expectation, everything else was basically within Yulin's guess. What Yulin didn't expect was that Zhang Huishun would choose to create an explosion in full view of everyone. After Zhang Huishun appeared, Yulin had already put away the telescope. Throw the unfinished popcorn and unfinished hand-brewed coffee into the smart trash can. A bit wasteful. Yilin used the fastest speed to take the elevator and slowly descended. It's a bit far. Yilin was a little helpless. Hating City is too big. Brother. Where are you? Oulele didn't seem to be calm. He who regarded himself as a mature and beautiful young man actually called him brother again. Yilin, on the way. I found something at the explosion site. There seemed to be a subtext of praise me, praise me, praise me, praise me hidden in Oulele's tone. Yilin was silent for 2 seconds. Awesome. Remember to save it, I'll look at it later. Oulele. Got it? Oulele has always been so awesome. Correct. I almost forgot about Fatty. There was a ding. After Yilin left the elevator, she rushed to Pudong district where Fatty and Suzayasu were. Take a taxi. When Li Erpang received Yilin's warning, his eyelids twitched slightly in fear. But still couldn't open it. No way, it runs in the family. The whole family squinted their eyes. But it was precisely because of this squinting that a tragic family ethics tragedy was avoided. Li Er's fat mother, gentle and virtuous, tall, with bulging front and back, and sweet appearance. Li Erpang's father, narrow eyes, tall and straight figure, perfect proportions, gentle and elegant. Li Erpang, well, it's hard to describe in one word. It is precisely because of this genetic characteristic of squinting eyes that Fatty Li Er saved him from the trouble of genetic testing. Let's not mention Li Erpang's family affairs for the time being. The warning he received was a simple sentence. Zhang Huishun appears. It was this sentence that made Li Erpang instantly feel that the 2-meter-tall Suzayasu was very pleasing to his eyes, and he quietly moved closer to Suzayasu, standing back to back. Suzayasu smiled lightly and didn't say much. Great love. From now on I believe in true love again. This is a touching story that the cross-dressing boss and Fat Rabbit have to tell. I'm in tears, how about you? In the crowd, many people were moved by this scene, burst into tears, and took photos one after another. In an instant. This scene, with the fastest and most explosive speed, it has occupied the top list of hot posts on Hating City's BBS and has remained popular for a long time. A few minutes later, the siren, which had subsided for a long time, resounded in the night sky of Hating City. Although Li Erpang and others used the filming set to completely deceive their actions, the explosion in Pudong district and the fact that someone committed suicide by falling from a building are undeniable facts. Therefore, under the instruction of Mayor Li, all teams that were already on standby, including firefighting, medical, police, and rescue teams, responded as quickly as possible. This is Dragon Kingdom speed. Provide the fastest and most professional rescue to every citizen. Where are the people? Li Erpang's eyes swept across the crowd of onlookers who had not yet had time to disperse. Especially women. All those who are tall, short, convex, young, and curvy are Li Erpang's key search targets. It seems that everyone is Zhang Huishun. It seems that everyone is not Zhang Huishun. This made the second fat classmate nervous. Tightened to the extreme. Before the bait plan started, Yilin had already reminded him to be careful of every object that appeared around him and of anyone he didn't know around him. Especially women. Any unknown object may explode, and any stranger may commit murder. At this time, Li Erpang glanced at Suzayasu quietly again. Suzayasu happened to look down with a reddish complexion. Li Erpang quickly looked away. Heart pounding. Scared. The tense atmosphere did not last long. Yilin's message came again, let's go. Zhang Huishun probably won't take action here. Leave here first and take off your mask. Yilin thought for a while and then added, by the way, let Suzayasu change into something other than a skirt. Li Erpang. 20 minutes later. Yilin, Li Erpang, Suzayasu, and Oulele reunited. Since Li Erpang had been caught by Suzayasu, he didn't bother to disguise himself and just showed his chubby face. As for the box behind, if you don't have anything, why bring it with you? Suzayasu also broke into a men's clothing store. Under the shocked eyes of countless people, she changed into a pair of energetic men's sportswear, code XXXXL, and was now sitting calmly opposite Li Erpang. Video. When Yulin finally arrived to meet up, without saying anything, she directly asked Oulele for a short video. I have a bald head. The author has a bald head. Please ask for help. Infinity Throne. Author, by Yi Shueshi. Chapter 145. Oulele has already watched the short video over and over again. Li Erpang and Suzayasu exchanged glances with different expressions. They all seemed to have little interest in fresh and hot short videos. Moreover, for Li Erpang, with Yulin around, he was too lazy to do such fat-wasting things as using his brain. Fat is very valuable. Yulin took the phone from Oulele. Orl intercepted the city's surveillance system through some channel, so this video file on his phone is the only one. The short video started playing in Yulin's hand. Shortly after the red fox was slapped away by Li Erpang, the red fox lay on the ground vomiting blood. Huh! Yulin suddenly let out a light sigh. What happened? When Li Erpang heard Yulin's tone, he came closer curiously. Yulin chuckled and glanced at Li Erpang. I didn't look carefully before, but it turned out that what you photographed was the red fox's chest. Li Erpang. Olele. Li Erpang suddenly felt a chill on his back. It was like a knife was scratching on the fat on the back. No, it seems to be more painful than scratching with a knife. Li Erpang slowly turned his head. He happened to meet Suzayasu's expressionless face. And those eyes that were a bit thoughtful. Li Erpang was so frightened that he shrank his neck and showed a sage-like expression. The ruthless hand that destroys flowers is my nickname for Li Erpang. In the midst of thousands of troops and enemies, regardless of gender, it doesn't matter whether you have breasts or not. It does not matter. When Suzayasu heard this, she lowered her head silently. Olele suddenly said, how does it feel? Hey, not bad, Li Erpang smiled subconsciously, with a wretched look on his face. Snapped. Suddenly there was a shallow fist mark on the ground beside Suzayasu. Classmate Li Erpang. Yulin had already continued watching the video without saying a word while Li Erpang was playing tricks. There is no fast forward. Anyway, she had nothing to do now, so Yulin didn't want to miss any scene, lest she miss any important information. Shortly after, the red fox was slapped on the chest by the fat classmate and lay down. A woman wearing high heels squeezes into the crowd. Then he seemed to say something. And left a box behind. The angle of the surveillance equipment only showed a side view of the woman approaching the red fox, and there was no frontal close-up shot. This is a bit regretful. Yulin continued to look down. The red fox struggled to rummage in the box for a while, found some medicine from the box, and gulped it down. A few more minutes. The red fox seemed to be waiting for its health to recover, or to recover its psychic energy. In short, during this time, the red fox did not leave the same place. Suddenly, in the video, the box on the ground suddenly glowed with a dazzling red light. And then, there is no more. The angle of the surveillance equipment was completely obscured by the explosion of fire. Ah! When he saw this, Li Erpang suddenly screamed. Yulin! Suzayasu! Olele! When Li Erpang saw several people present looking at him, he lowered his head and said with a shy smile, Fat Master, I have been working hard all night, and I am a little hungry. I want to order a takeaway. I will buy it. Who of you wants to eat? Several people fell silent for a moment. The atmosphere was slightly awkward. If not. Orl immediately raised her hand, 3 balls of ice cream, the kind with chocolate added. Yulin, have a hamburger, just plain single layer. Li Erpang was angry, damn it. I'm just talking, you're really rude, aren't you? Yulin silently lowered his head to study the short video. Oral raised the tip of her nose and whistled as if she didn't hear him. Li Erpang was a little depressed. After thinking about it, although his relationship with Brother Su was a bit awkward, after all, Brother Su gave him the key to regaining his figure as a fat man, so he couldn't ignore Brother Su. So Li Erpang asked in a low voice, Sister Su, what do you want to eat? Suzayasu thought for a moment. He turned his head and whispered, I want to lose weight. Li Erpang. Brother Su. You, a muscle-bound guy with a body fat rate of less than 3%, still need to lose weight? Of course, classmate Li Erpang would never dare to say this. He might be beaten to death. So classmate Li Erpang silently ordered takeout. At this time, Yulin had completed 3 views of the short video. The third time I fast-forwarded and only read the most critical parts. After Yulin returned the phone to Oral, she closed her eyes and thought carefully. From the beginning of Li Changa's supernatural incident, I thought about the origin and process of the series of events. Connect all the events in your mind, piece by piece. Ding. Your takeout has been delivered. An AI-synthesized sound brought Yulin back to reality from her thoughts. A chubby AI robot delivered the takeaway to Li Erpang and then left quietly. Very dedicated. Artificial intelligence is indeed a good friend of mankind. Suck slip. Kaka. Phew. Phew. For a moment, everyone was immersed in their food and no one spoke. You should express your opinion. Classmate Li Erpang had been acting as bait all night and finally couldn't help but express his opinion. Yulin chuckled, what opinions do you want to hear? What the hum? Of course it was your plan. I have been a fat rabbit for one night. No matter whether the plan succeeds or not, you have to set a number. Don't forget, today is already the second night, and there is no time. There are so many. Actually. Yulin finished her burger, wiped her mouth, and continued, except for Oral, all 3 of us have accepted the mission. This forced reality task, on the surface, actually has 2 ways to complete it. The first option, needless to say, is to find Zhang Huishan and kill him. Everyone will be happy. Li Erpang nodded. This paragraph was considered nonsense, but Yulin started to talk about it from the beginning, and Li Erpang did not interrupt. As for the second type, haha, Yulin smiled, actually, it doesn't mean completing the task, but it is a simpler way. I think, you should have thought about this way. Li Erpang's pupils shrank slightly under his eyelids. But no words were spoken. That is, find the other apostles in Hating City and kill them, huh? Snapped. Oral's ice cream balls changed from 3 to 2. One of the balls is on the ground. Scared. Can this still happen? Li Erpang remained silent. In fact, in the fight with the zoo team just now, if he had not had the chance and had some concerns, he would have killed him long ago. After all, he still has the ultimate move of burn. Fat, hidden in him. He believed that as long as he cooperated with Suzayasu and burned all the fat, it would not be difficult to lift the 2 slow-moving power apostles to the sky. However, once you kill someone in public, coupled with Li Erpang's special identity. Oh, I want to be a good person. Li Erpang let out a long sigh. No one knows how itchy his hands were just now. Wait. Su, Sister Su, didn't you kill the green snake just now? Suzayasu raised her head and shook her head slowly. No. The voice is sweet. It sounds pretty good. Sounds good, what a ghost. Li Erpang couldn't help but feel that this kind of character was extremely evil. Li Erpang showed a regretful expression at first, but after thinking about it, he realized that it was right, Suzayasu was not in disguise, and besides, it was difficult for her to disguise herself enough for no one to recognize her. It was okay to cripple the green snake, but if he really killed the green snake in front of countless melon-eating people, it would be difficult for Suzayasu to be kind in the real world. After all, Li Erpang also deeply realized the power of public opinion at this time. The popularity on Hating City's BBS has not subsided yet. Li Erpang looked at Yilin again. Weren't you hiding nearby? You could quietly kill the one hiding on the roof of the building. Why didn't you take the opportunity to take action? Beside, Oyulele looked at Pia on the ground with regret as it turned into a pile of ice cream balls. When he heard this sentence, he couldn't help but stare at Yilin expressionlessly. You didn't tell this fat man that you were in the goddess tower all the time. Superior. Li Erpang was confused for a moment. Yilin returned Oyulele's look with a knowing look. Oyulele shut her mouth instantly. Keep licking the balls. It does not matter. It's not important, your sister. We agreed to meet you nearby. I really thought you were nearby, but you are actually on top of the goddess tower in Zongja district? Are you kidding me? Wait a minute. Erpang classmate, suddenly something felt wrong. You were so far away. How did you kill the sniper? When did I tell you I killed him? Didn't you say he's gone? And he also turned into a pickle. I just said that he was gone, but I didn't tell you that I made him go away. With a calm expression, Yilin opened the Hating City BBS and handed it to the fat man. In the Hating City BBS, in addition to the active deeds of Fat Rabbit and others, there is also a very popular post. An astronomy enthusiast who was observing the stars at night accidentally discovered the truth about committing suicide by falling from a building in Pudong district. Miraculously, there is a video in it. Li Erpang was stunned for a while, and of course he clicked on the video out of curiosity. The video is a bit blurry. It seems that the shooting location is a bit far away. But thankfully the video pixels are exceptionally high definition. A figure danced happily on the top floor of the building, then jumped and spun around, then lost his footing and fell downstairs, becoming a pile of paint on the floor of Pudong district. Li Erpang. Here are a bunch of replies. This story tells us, don't dance on the rooftop if you have nothing to do. I think the real moral of this story is that you should never dance on a rooftop without a fence. Wait a minute, isn't anyone complaining about why they dance downstairs? You guys are all wrong. Am I the only one who thinks it's weird to take videos of stargazing at night? Ad 1. Ad 2. Ad 3. The original poster asks for private resources, personal mailbox. Seeking resources. Ad 1. Ask for resources. Ad 2. Requesting resources. Ad 10,086. Yes. Li Erpang suddenly realized it. It's really weird to be able to take videos of things like stargazing at night. What kind of star can look like a little video? Avi. Anyway, Yilin silently took the phone back from Li Erpang's hand and changed the subject without leaving a trace. The bait plan was successful. At least, it made me understand a few things. Li Erpang and others suddenly forgot about other things and listened attentively. Yilin smiled slightly. First, although I haven't had time to ask Zhao Yulong to send the video of Zhang Huishun's first appearance in the hospital, the woman close to the Red Fox should be the target of this mission, Zhang Rejuvenation. Second, although I don't know the reason yet, Zhang Huishun should also have a mission, which is somewhat similar to our mission. If our mission is to kill Zhang Huishun, then Zhang Huishun's mission is, to kill us. Same time limit, kill us in Hating City. When Li Erpang heard this, his mood exploded slightly. So, the person who first posted on the Apostle Forum that there was an unowned and possessed weapon in Hating City should be Zhang Huishun himself. The purpose is obvious. She shouldn't be able to find more apostles in a while, so she plans to use the stupidest method to lure more apostles to this place. Li Erpang muttered in a low voice, it is indeed a stupid method. Yilin smiled and said, but in fact, there are many apostles who come here because of it, right? If this forced reality mission hadn't suddenly appeared, even a visit to Hating City would not have mattered. Man will die for wealth, and birds will die for food, not to mention the apostles whose life or death is uncertain in every trial in the other world. As long as you can increase your strength, as long as you give a little enough tempting bait, countless apostles will naturally flock to you. Oral raised her hand. Yulin, say. Oulele thought for a while. In yesterday's train C-13 incident, who was the man carrying the box on the train? I believe I saw it right at the time, male and female. Oulele, can still tell the difference. Of. Li Erpang couldn't help but curl his lips. Young man, you don't even know what a woman is. Olele. Yilin's expression condensed. I'm a little surprised by this. It may be other events that happen during this incident, or there may be other special reasons. After all, no one has seen the unknown spirit-possessed weapon. As long as there is a slight hint of the true nature, someone will naturally be unable to help but take action. Coincidence? Oulele lowered his head. Li Erpang understood now. Damn it. That's why you let me carry an empty suitcase of the same style. How else could you be used as bait? Oral raised her hand again. He is indeed a good student. Yilin's eyes indicated that Oral could ask questions. Then what are we, oh no, you going to do next? Oulele counted on his fingers. Are there any other actions tonight? If you can't find Zhang Huishun tonight, you will do it tomorrow night. Oulele actually made a gesture of wiping his neck. Li Erpang was angry. As a child, can you please stop doing this kind of action so expressively? Damn it. Yilin looked at the time. Where they were, the crowds were relatively sparse. But you can also faintly hear the sound of police sirens and ambulances rippling from the bustling area of Pudong district. Yilin shrugged helplessly. What else can we do? Just wait. Li Erpang was slightly startled. Wait? How to wait? Do you have to wait with your life? The fat man was actually a little anxious. He was even considering the feasibility of Yilin's second method. After all, he has never encountered such bad things in the real world. The mentality is a bit broken. Yilin did feel a little helpless. His original plan tonight was that after Zhang Huishun was lured out, he might take action against Li Erpang, but what Yilin also didn't expect was that Suzayasu actually found Erpang in disguise at this juncture through the hot posts on BBS classmate. Perhaps it was because Suzayasu and Li Erpang stood together and the two-tank combination was too oppressive, or perhaps because of other concerns. After Zhang Huishun appeared, he just blew up the Red Fox and did not attack Li Erpang and Suzayasu. It can be seen from this that Zhang Huishun is far more cautious than Yilin imagined. Lao Yin beeped. Identification is completed. Yilin is not a god, so it is impossible for him to have a perfect plan for everything. But don't forget it. If I'm not mistaken, the time limit should be the same for us and Zhang Huishun. Otherwise, she would not risk being exposed after hiding for so long. Choose to take action against the Red Fox at that time. Wait, those breasts, is that woman dead? How do I know? Yilin was speechless. Even if the police can find the body afterwards, it will probably be blown beyond recognition. And we don't know who the Red Fox is. What Yilin is also worried about is that based on Yilin's speculation about Zhang Huishun's old and sinister character, it is very possible that she has figured out the series of events tonight and that someone deliberately lured her out. If we follow tonight's plan later, it probably won't have any good results. Unless, Zhang Huishun couldn't help it. Yilin suddenly laughed when she thought of this. The enemy is in the dark. But he is also in the dark. Next, it depends on who is more impatient. I just hope that the other apostles in Hating City can be more powerful and not be easily found and killed by Zhang Huishun. Tonight's plan didn't go as planned. Li Erpang looked a little depressed. Oyulele acted like it had nothing to do with him. Suzayasu took advantage of Li Erpang not paying attention and quietly moved closer to Li Erpang. Right now. Yilin received another vibration reminder of voice call connecting dash. Open the Apostle communication panel and take a look. Oh, sure enough. It's Zhao Yulong. Yilin thought for a few seconds and finally answered Zhao Yulong's voice call. Unexpectedly, after the voice call was connected, Zhao Yulong grinned, "Are you crazy? How could this incident in Hating City be like this? I shouldn't have treated that little brat. Oyulele put it over there. You are really a heifer to the Antarctic. Are you so awesome?" Yilin slowly typed a question mark. "Don't lie to me, tell me, were you the one responsible for what happened in Hating City tonight?" "Oh, so you know." Yilin's tone was very calm. "Nonsense. Didn't I know that the stupid son of the Li family in the Z5 Council was turned into an internet celebrity by you? Oh, it turned out to be because of this." Yilin glanced at the little fat man. Li Erpang can be recognized by his family even if he wears a hood. Maybe this is love. Zhao Yulong seemed to be just complaining. It seemed that he didn't really want to blame Yilin. After all, tonight's plan was covered up by Yilin's acting perfectly. Even if someone was a little confused, let Oyulele manipulate the data for a while. After this matter was over, new heat came up. This matter it will naturally be forgotten by the masses. As long as Zhang Huishun can be solved, this incident will not create much abnormality in the real world. After nagging for a while, Zhao Yulong finally brought up the business. Where is Zhang Huishun? Is he dead? Yilin thought for a while. He did not hide anything and told Zhao Yulong most of the information he had learned so far. Is that so? After Zhao Yulong shared Yilin's information, he pondered for a moment and then said seriously, "Zhang Huishun left a lot of mess before. Now the team is seriously short of manpower. After dealing with the abnormality here, I may be the latest tomorrow, rush to Hating City. You and that little brat must stay calm and don't cause too big an abnormal incident." Yilin chuckled. "Also, this time, the team leader may come too. You, hey, be careful." Zhao Yulong's style changed suddenly, and he started laughing again. "No enemy? Amoran's enemy comes as soon as he comes. What does it have to do with him? Ahem, in short, please don't let this matter continue. People like us must not be exposed to the sun, let alone those of us who are related to the tower. If anyone who is not discerning dares to be in Hating, there are some random things going on in the city." Zhao Yulong's tone suddenly turned cold. Yilin smiled slightly and said, "Kill. The bald author wants everything." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Infinity Throne. Author, by Yi Shueshi. Chapter 146. Before ending the call, Yilin asked Zhao Yulong to send the video of Zhang Huishun's first murder to Oyulele's mobile phone. Just check carefully wherever there is a network cable. Although it is very likely that this video has been studied over and over by the special group. But to be on the safe side, Yilin decided to review the video herself. Just in case I missed something. Next, Yilin and the four of them waited there doing nothing for another 2 hours. Until the investigation of the suicide incident and the explosion incident were completed and the dust settled, the mysterious woman who attacked the Red Fox, Zhang Huishun, never appeared again. At least, it has not appeared in the detection range of Yilin and others. This made Yilin couldn't help but think more highly of Zhang Huishun. What should we do? In the square, Fatty Li was enjoying himself eating fried chicken. It's quiet at night. Bat This is already the third wave of takeout ordered by Li Erpang alone. The fat man asked. Suzayasu and Oyulele both looked at Yilin. Yilin was silent for several seconds. Then he finally couldn't help but reveal the truth. Are you all too lazy to use your brain? Li Erpang chuckled. Where is it? Those who are capable should work hard, he, those who are capable should work hard. Yilin decided not to argue too much with Li Erpang. By the way, consider whether the upgraded version of the bait plan should be put on the agenda as soon as possible. Zhang Huishun should not appear again tonight, unless she finds another target, or... As Yilin spoke, she looked at Fatty Li, who was munching fried chicken. Li Erpang shuddered inexplicably when he saw Yilin's calm eyes. Shaking his head wildly. Okay, let's go back first. Since Fatty Li doesn't seem to be willing to be a bait again, Yilin won't push Fatty too much for the time being. Furthermore, if the same strategy is staged again, it may not achieve the same effect. As I said before, they are pressed for time, and Zhang Huishun's time should be equally pressed for time, otherwise Zhang Huishun would not take the risk of being exposed tonight and take action in public. Yilin is still more than 90% sure of this speculation. After thinking for a moment, Yilin used the Apostle communication function to send 2 messages to 2 people. After sending the message, Yilin took Li Erpang and the 3 of them to Li Changa's mansion. It was late at night. Generally speaking, during this time period, most of the night owls in Hating City gather in the bustling nightclubs, while the roads are sparsely populated. Li Erpang raised his head. It's a murderous night when the moon is dark and the wind is high. He suddenly remembered such a classic old saying. Li Erpang didn't dare to let down his guard. A pair of squinting eyes scanned around. As long as it was a woman, as long as it was not difficult to see, they would never let it go, and take a good look at it. Another half-hour passed. The bloody plot that Li Erpang had imagined dozens or 20 times did not happen. Have a safe journey. Shun shun dang dang. It went so smoothly that Fatty even wondered if he was suffering from persecutory delusion. Zhang Huishun and so on, real tasks and so on, do not exist at all, haha, hallucination, everything is an hallucination. Snapped. Suzayasu slapped Li Erpang on the back. Only then did Li Erpang come back to his senses from his wild thoughts. He was about to get angry when he turned around and saw that it was Brother Su, who was expressionless. He shrank his neck in fright and trembled. Sister Su, please shoot me. What are you doing? My little body doesn't stand up to being photographed. Oyu Lele's eyebrows twitched slightly. Small body. Just you. Yilin said expressionlessly. Fat man, you blocked the door. Li Erpang. Oyu Lele covered her mouth and laughed. Li Erpang raised his eyebrows. He stepped out of the door. But he walked up to Oyu Lele. Looking from the top to the crotch, and then from the crotch to the top, I looked back and forth several times. Oh Lele. Li Erpang looked regretful and patted Oyu Lele on the shoulder. You are right, whether you are small or not depends on who you compare with. I am indeed not small. Olele. Li Erpang chuckled. Nor does he explain the connotation of his words. Suzayasu couldn't help but give the little fat man a rollicking look, with a smile between her brows. But this smile did not attract the attention of the fat man. Bad fate. Yilin saw the expression on Suzayasu's face as she looked at Li Erpang, and silently summed it up in 2 words in her heart. But don't say it yet. In Yilin's eyes, Suzayasu and Li Erpang are a good match. At the very least, the weight is very proportionate. The 4 of them filed in. Soon he quietly entered Li Changa's villa. Li Changa and Lao Pan have returned here safe and sound. The door opened. The fat man happened to be walking in front. As soon as the door opened, an extremely familiar face came into Li Erpang's narrow eyes. Li Erpang. Pan Xiaozhang. Li Changa's door was frozen in the awkward atmosphere between the 2 for 10 seconds. 10 seconds later. I hum your uncle, Pan Zhenji. Fatty finally found you. Fatty will definitely fight you to death today. Li Erpang roared angrily, dragged nearly 200 kilograms of fat, and rushed towards the expressionless Lao Pan. When she saw Lao Pan and Li Erpang struggling together in the hall, Yilin slapped her forehead. I actually forgot that in Gotham City, Li Erpang still seemed to be obsessed with Pan Zhenji's behavior. 10 minutes later. Are you done with the trouble? Yilin chuckled and looked at the two panting people occupying each side of the hall. There was a swollen red slap mark on Lao Pan's face. He was holding Harry's best friend tightly in his hand, and the uneven stick was still stained with blood. The bridge of Fatty Li Er's nose was bruised, and his nosebleed came out gurglingly. From time to time, he heard Fatty sniffing, and the nosebleed was sucked back by Fatty Li Er. Li Chang'e looked at the messy living room with tears in his eyes. I looked at Li Erpang and then at Lao Pan, not knowing who to settle the score with. Li Erpang wiped his nosebleed, shook his fingers, and pointed at the stick in Pan Ziajeng's hand. How the hell did you bring that thing out? Lao Pan slowly typed a question mark, but did not hide it. I got it in the lottery. Li Erpang. Lele dug out a tube of collection-grade potato chips from an unknown cabinet in Li Chang'e's villa, and ate them happily. After eating for a while, she felt her mouth was dry, so she shouted at Li Chang'e unceremoniously. Big star, I want a drink, I want a drink. Li Chang'e. Suziasu's face was expressionless. Watching Li Erpang being hit by Lao Pan with a stick until his nose started to bleed, I felt a little distressed. I couldn't help but slap my palm lightly on the coffee table. Snapped. The solid wood coffee table in the living room was instantly photographed in two pieces. Li Chang'e cried even more miserably, oh my god, that's custom made from rare wood. The other side. Lao Pan and Li Erpang seemed to have a hard time fighting each other. Tangled together again. Up, down, left, right, abob. Li Erpang casually raised an ordinary-looking vase in the corner of the living room. Li Chang'e's eyes twitched and he shouted, stop it. Put down that vase. That's an antique from the Ming dynasty. Ding dong. You have a new visitor, little brother. Li Chang'e's villa AI butler sounded a mature and charming AI synthesized voice. Yilin looked down at the time. It should be almost there. So Yilin ignored the people fighting in the living room and Li Chang'e, who was about to cry without tears, and walked straight to the door. Open the door for visitors. Behind. Li Chang'e screamed again. My antique. Yilin opened the door casually and felt a strong wind coming from behind. He calmly took a step to the side. What flew towards Yilin's back was a so-called antique vase that looked ordinary. Judging from Li Chang'e's reaction, it seems that he is still a little expensive. Call out. The vase just flew past Yilin. A sharp sword light stung everyone's eyes. Click. Almost as soon as the sword flashed, the sword was sheathed, as if it had never shown its edge. Snapped. The small antique vase is split in two right down the middle. The incision is as smooth as a mirror. Oda Mai raised her head. With a clear face, he slowly raised a question mark. Li Chang'e. Because the matter was so important, Li Chang'e found a random reason and asked his agent Zhang Hanlu to temporarily go back to the company to stay for 2 days, so as not to delay things in the villa. Only 2 days. Yesterday and today. If everything goes well, it will all be over on the 3rd day. If things don't go well, Li Chang'e will undoubtedly ascend to heaven on the spot, and there will be nothing else to do with Zhang Hanlu. After Li Chang'e paid a slight price, all the guests finally calmed down. Everyone is on the 2nd floor now. Because the 1st floor is already like a typhoon passing through, it is terrible to see. Not very suitable to stay. It was just after early morning. For Yilin, everyone is here. Everyone sat in a circle on the carpet, looking at each other. The atmosphere in the room was heavy. It's raining lightly. The pattering kind. It seems that there is still a sad little song lingering in everyone's ears. The listener is sad and the listener sheds tears. It makes people feel a sad emotion. Turn off your special effects. Yilin suddenly turned her head and glared at Li Chang'e. This drizzle all over the sky is the tears that I want to shed but can't, oh soul. With tears in his eyes, Li Chang'e silently controlled his emotions, and the special effects in the room finally disappeared completely. What the hell? You actually have such a skill. Li Erpang and Oulele were shocked when they saw Li Chang'e's 50-cent special effects skill for the first time. As for Yilin and Lao Pan, they were already used to it. After a brief discussion, Yilin coughed twice and concluded. He first looked at Oda Mai. In other words, the reason why you came to Hating City is because the spirit-possessed weapon passed down by your family was stolen. After seeing the post about unknown spirit-possessed weapon on the forum, fought all the way here. There is a long sword beside my Oda. The one that killed countless fierce ghosts in Gawu Mountain. She looked cold, nodded slightly, and said nothing more. This can explain why Oda Mai appeared at the crash site of train C13. So, who is the man holding the black box on train C13? The thief who stole the spirit-enchanted weapon passed down from the Oda Mai family. Unexpectedly, there is one more thing in this complicated clue. It gave Yilin a headache. Anyway, after integrating and summarizing all the current information, Yilin had already reached a conclusion. It was almost the same as what he had guessed at the beginning. Yilin, Li Chang'e, Oda Wu, Suzayasu, Li Erpang, Lao Pan, Oulele. 7 people. Now among the 7 of us, 6 have reached the second level. Except for Oral, the rest of us are forced to accept that realistic mission. Oh, by the way, Lao Pan is fine. Pan Xiaozhang. That is, kill Zhang Huishun. I have told you all the information about Zhang Huishun that can be told. This opponent is very cunning and difficult to deal with. Li Erpang suddenly chuckled, don't worry, no one can compare to you in terms of cunning. Yilin looked at Li Erpang expressionlessly. He pretended not to hear and continued. The first thing I want to know is, other than Oral, who has more than 10,000 death points? After Yilin said this, he looked around and scanned everyone's face. Oda Mai quietly raised her hand. Silence. Oda Mai slowly put down her hand again without saying much. Yilin took a deep look at Oda Mai. He didn't ask any more questions, and he didn't continue to dwell on this topic. Oda Mai has experienced almost as many other worlds as he has. As for why he can accumulate so many death points, I guess I have to ask about the knife in her hand. It's really cruel. That is to say, except for Oda Wu, there are only 4 of us left. We must beat Zhang Huishun to death within tomorrow. Yilin narrowed his eyes slightly, and seeing that no one had any objections, he finally expressed his last thoughts. I have a plan. As for whether you want to participate in this plan, it is entirely voluntary. Voluntary. Yilin emphasized. Damn it. How dare you agree to volunteer for this job? Li Erpang wiped his nosebleed and said loudly, I don't care, Fatty, I don't care what your plans are. In short, Fatty, don't go alone again, be a bait, I don't want it, don't want it, don't want it. Yilin smiled slightly. Don't worry, you won't be alone. Everyone couldn't help being slightly startled when they heard this. This plan, I initially named it Bait Plan Ultimate Edition. Well, Yilin has always been very confident about her naming taste. The long night. No intention of sleeping. But Li Chang'e, Li Erpang, and others were still fast asleep. Had a good night's sleep. The next day, Li Chang'e suddenly jumped up from the bed. With a turbulent cemetery special effect, everyone's door was opened. Damn it! There are only 13 hours left. How to break it? How to break it? Yilin rubbed her eyes. If you keep arguing, I will really give you incense today next year. Hiss. Li Chang'e took a breath of cold air. In autumn, the air is a bit cool, not surprising. Being disturbed by Li Chang'e, everyone staying overnight in the villa also got up. Of course, even without Li Chang'e's trouble, no one would choose to sleep in today. Why sleep for a long time before you are alive? You will sleep forever after you die. If they cannot pass this test today, at least 4 of the 7 people will not be able to sleep forever. Hating City. BBS Forum. The popularity of the last wave of hot posts has just subsided. After experiencing all kinds of nightlife all night, the citizens of Hating City got up one after another. However, he was frightened by a sudden post and woke up instantly, and his bed breath disappeared. Hey! Have you logged into the BBS and watched it? I'm with my boyfriend, will you what's wrong? Oh? Together? What the heck? Is there anything more important than surfing the internet? Hurry up and go watch BBS. Wait, why are you speaking so slurred? Li Chang'e, will be filming a special location in the city today, so fans please don't panic, please give me Li Chang'e some face. When spring comes next year and the flowers bloom, you will see a brand new Li Chang'e. Li Chang'e. It's that fried chicken star Li Chang'e. Li Chang'e, the dream lover of female fans and the lifelong enemy of male fans. No one doubts the authenticity of this post. After all, behind the 3 characters Li Chang'e of the poster, there is an official V certification, which cannot be faked. Really Li Chang'e? Special location? This is simply unheard of. Li Chang'e actually shoots outdoor scenes outside the film and television city? Aren't you afraid of being exposed to the sun? Aren't you afraid of getting hurt and knocked down? What should I do if I get tanned? What if I am accidentally harassed by a fanatical female fan? For a time, countless crazy fans responded to the post, complaining for Li Chang'e. But some people are looking forward to it very much. Maybe by following the posts, they can find the filming location and get up close and personal with the idol. Only. Facing the greetings of countless fans, Li Chang'e himself never replied. But Li Chang'e's own post was like a man possessed, becoming more and more popular. By about 10 o'clock in the morning, the number of views had exceeded 10 million. It far exceeds the popularity of Fat Rabbit and Women's Clothes Boss yesterday. Li Chang'e looked at his phone from time to time and nodded with satisfaction. Did you see it? Did you see it? Li Chang'e, actor, superstar. Hey hey hey. Li Chang'e giggled inexplicably while holding his cell phone. Next to Li Chang'e, Pan Xiaozhang frowned, stroking the stick in his hand. He was hesitating whether he should wake Li Chang'e up with a stick. 1000. Time is getting shorter and shorter. But Yilin became less and less anxious. Because he knew very well that as long as Zhang Huishun was still in the city, the closer the deadline was, she would sooner or later be unable to help but take action. As Yilin walked towards the exit of the Zhongji district underground network, he was thinking about whether there was anything missing in the plan he had made. As long as you are human, you will always have things you don't think well about, and Yuren is no exception. Only by thinking over and over again can he minimize the chance of making mistakes. Brother! 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 Just when Yilin was about to arrive at the exit of the underground network, the death mark on Yilin's chest shook crazily. Open it and take a look. But it was Oulele, the little kid, who kept calling brother in a panic. What's wrong? At this time, Yilin did not dare to ignore anyone's information. Even Li Chang'e and Li Erpang. Problem occurs. I just received intelligence that 2 male bodies were found in a surveillance blind spot in Pudong District Park. I hacked into the Pudong police station and found the latest autopsy report. by cross-referencing it with the video from last night. Lele gasped for breath and finally got to the point. There is a 78% probability that the two newly discovered deceased are the Black Tiger and Kizaru who beat Fatty to death last night. Oh. Is that so? When Yilin heard the news, she lowered her head silently. Infinity Throne. Author, by Yi Shueshi. Chapter 147. The Hating City BBS forum is in full swing. Li Changa's real name came to an end, which brought terrible traffic. Even Yilin had to sigh at this point. Although Li Changa, as an apostle, is a bit hard to describe in terms of skills, his appeal in the real world is indeed unmatched by others. Perhaps, this world has never been short of such creatures as idiots. After temporarily ending the chat with Lele and letting the little kid continue to focus on other useful information, Yilin stood at the exit of the underground network, waiting with nothing to do, while thinking. This series of events has reached its final moment. Zhang Huishun will definitely appear. It's just, I don't know how I will appear in front of everyone. Yo. At this time, a wretched middle-aged man wearing flowery pants and flip-flops walked out of the underground network exit and walked straight towards Yilin. Daiwang is originally the transportation hub of Hating City, with dense crowds of people coming and going. The handsome man in shorts instantly attracted the attention of countless people. Mom, that uncle looks so weird. Be good, close your eyes, don't look at things you shouldn't look at, it will damage your eyes. But, that weird uncle is smiling at me. Seeing this, countless beautiful young women with children retreated. Yilin was speechless. It's autumn, and you're still wearing the speech style. Isn't your crotch cold? Zhao Yulong chuckled, get used to it, cool is good, cool is good. Wait a minute. Yilin suddenly remembered that he had the same set of clothes last time. He took a few steps back expressionlessly. How long has it been since you changed clothes? After the two of them reunited. Silence. Regarding the current situation in Hating City, Yilin also briefly talked to Zhao Yulong. There was nothing to talk about in front of everyone. However, in Yilin's impression, Zhao Yulong is indeed a senior apostle, and there are no simple apostles who can survive the first wave of world mutation. To be precise, the skills Zhang Huishun currently possesses should be those he has already demonstrated. Yilin has already made a preliminary guess. Although it is difficult to deal with, it is not invincible. But what Yilin is most worried about is that Zhang Huishun has killed so many apostles, and he doesn't know what abilities or props he can extract from the boxes of other apostles. The unknown that Zhang Huishun has not yet shown is what makes people even more worried. Didn't you say, Amo Rendi would come? While walking aimlessly, Yilin remembered this matter and asked casually. Zhao Yulong squinted his eyes and looked around. The weather is so sunny today, beautiful scenery everywhere, acridine. Upon hearing Yilin's words, Zhao Yulong put away his cynical expression. Ahem, team leader, he is still in the capital and busy with important things. He will fly directly to Hating City by military helicopter later. There is no rush. Yilin, is it important? Well, today is the 17th anniversary of Molly learning to walk. That old man is really an unwavering Molly control. Yilin lowered his head and thought for a moment. On such an important day, should he also send a red envelope to congratulate him? What's written on the red envelope? Congratulations to Mo Mengmeng on her 17th year of learning to walk. Who the hell could be so boring? Yilin filtered out this boring thought in just a second. By the way, Kizaru and Black Tiger are dead. Huh, Zhao Yulong's expression changed slightly when he heard this. Are they the ones you said came from the zoo last night? How did you die? Yilin smiled and said, I don't know. There are many wounds on the surface of the entity, multiple fatal injuries, but there may be only one that is truly fatal. The other wounds, maybe just cover UPS. This is the medical examiner's autopsy report. Yilin doesn't have time to investigate the corpse now. You can only believe in the information Oulele learned through his method. Zhao Yulong let out a long "oh," then smiled coldly. Zhang Huishun. There's a 90% chance it's her. Yilin had already reached this conclusion through reasoning before meeting Zhao Yulong. Zhao Yulong was silent for a moment. Then he continued, I also made some discoveries over there. Zhao Yulong rarely showed a serious expression. I contacted Zhang Huishun, well, a friend during his lifetime, the kind who added a friend. Yilin understood it as soon as she heard it. This is called adding friends. It refers to the contact method between apostles to add friends to each other. On September 5, the day Zhang Huishun died, her profile picture was indeed darkened. But before her friend had time to delete Zhang Huishun's name, on the night of September 5, Zhang Huishun's profile picture suddenly lit up again. Yilin's pupils narrowed. In other words, this Zhang Huishun is really Zhang Huishun who came back from the dead, not someone else pretending to be Zhang Huishun. Zhao Yulong nodded with a strange expression. I didn't believe it at first. After all, this kind of thing is rarer than seeing a ghost. Yilin thought for a while. The ghosts all over the mountains and plains in Gawu Mountain. In comparison, if Zhang Huishun really came back from the dead, it would indeed be rarer than seeing a ghost. Haha. Before Yilin could express his opinion, Zhao Yulong smiled coldly. I don't care whether Zhang Huishun is a human or a ghost. He killed so many people and caused such an abnormality. He deserved his death. Now that he has survived, then let her die again. So. After Zhao Yulong finished speaking, he patted Yilin on the shoulder with deep words. The task is difficult, young man. Is this matter left to you? Seeing Zhao Yulong's aloof tone, the corners of Yilin's mouth twitched slightly. So what's the use for you? At this time, the two of them unknowingly walked somewhere in Pudong district. Zhao Yulong lowered his head and looked at the time. Well, it should be almost here. Really? Not long after Zhao Yulong was talking to himself, a red-haired woman wearing sunglasses walked towards Yilin and Zhao Yulong furtively. Red hair? Red fox? Yilin was slightly startled at first, and then couldn't help but glance at Zhao Yulong. In an instant, I seemed to understand something. Because she was wearing sunglasses, it was impossible to distinguish the red-haired woman's eyes. But Yilin still noticed that behind the sunglasses there seemed to be two cold and scrutinizing eyes, falling lightly on her. It seems to have a hint of imperceptible meaning. Yilin was silent. And didn't speak. But he had already vaguely guessed the identity of the red-haired woman. He also vaguely guessed the reason why the red-haired woman appeared here. She's really not dead. In an instant, a doubt flashed through Yilin's mind. Zhao Yulong chuckled, looked at the red-haired woman from top to bottom, and made a tut-tisk sound in his mouth. But soon, his expression straightened, and he stretched out his hand towards the red-haired woman. Special group, Zhao Yulong. Are you the legendary Zhao Yulong? The red-haired woman looked away from Yilin, and soon sighed softly. I am Angela. As I said at the beginning, I will take the initiative to assist you, but you must protect me. Oh, that's right. Zhao Yulong was afraid that Yilin wouldn't recognize him, so he explained to Yilin in a low voice, Angela, a mixed-race Chinese, we are all traveling together. I think your kid's brain should be able to guess. He is, you tell me that, Red Fox. Who is this? Angela finally looked at Yilin officially at this time. Yilin smiled slightly. Special group, Yilin. Angela. Angela didn't say any nonsense like nice to meet you. No apostle, who was well hidden, would be happy to know someone from a special group. Obviously, if it weren't for some reason, Angela would never take the initiative to reveal her identity and be registered in the special group's apostle file. Once the identity of the apostle is exposed and comes into the sight of the special group, Many things in the real world become shackles and can no longer be hidden in the darkness. Zhao Yulong also gave a simple explanation. The Dragon Kingdom is very big. The special team is short of manpower. So now it's an embarrassing situation where no one is available. He also had to make him run around to solve a lot of mess left by Zhang Huishun. According to Angela, in his communication list, Hawkeye, Black Tiger, and Kizaru have all go offline. The zoo team who caused a scene in Hating City last night was now the only ones left with her and Green Snake. The deaths of Black Tiger and Kizaru made Angela feel unprecedented fear. The fear brought about by Zhang Huishun. So for various reasons, she decided to contact the legendary official organization of the special group to seek asylum. No one wants to die. Freedom is precious, but life is even more valuable. Zhao Yulong called up the photo of Zhang Huishun from his mobile phone, and then asked Angela to identify it carefully. Angela didn't paddle either, and after looking up and down for a full minute, she said with certainty, "Yes, it's her, the damn woman who almost killed me last night. Real hammer." Yulin and Zhao Yulong looked at each other and nodded secretly. "Are you sure your interesting plan can lure Zhang Huishun out?" After Zhao Yulong heard about Yulin's plan, he thought about it for a long time and finally gave an interesting evaluation. Yulin shook his head, "No plan can be certain of success. I am only certain that the mission time limit exists for us and Zhang Huishun." Looking at the time, Yulin raised the corner of his mouth, "There are only a dozen hours left. Unless Zhang Huishun plans to die with a group of us, of course, it may not necessarily be that we die together. In addition to killing Zhang Huishun, there are other options. But too many people died." Zhao Yulong's expression was somewhat hesitant. Yulin glanced at Zhao Yulong, who had a troubled expression. "You probably didn't receive the mission, right?" "That's necessary." When Zhao Yulong heard this, he immediately held his head high and said, "I'm not a rookie like you, second level? It doesn't exist." Etc. Angela, who had been following the two without speaking, raised her hand weakly. "I also received the task. Can I earn a little bit of death points?" Yulin, "No." Zhao Yulong, "You have a beautiful idea." Unexpectedly, Yulin and Zhao Yulong said at the same time. Yulin finally realized the benefits of special status and smiled slightly. "We are law enforcers." Zhao Yulong chuckled, his expression gradually changing. Angela couldn't help but be stunned when she saw the tacit expressions of Yulin and Zhao Yulong. Etc. What is there a word called? Double standards? After Yulin and Oulele briefly confirmed who had the management rights of the monitoring system, they turned back to Zhao Yulong and said, "It's almost time. Others should start taking action." Zhao Yulong casually took out a piece of chewing gum and threw it into his mouth. "Take 2 bites." It felt bland. Yulin was about to leave. Seeing this scene, I couldn't help but ask curiously, "Have you quit smoking?" "I just quit smoking not long ago." "I wonder if Grandma is hallucinating because of quitting smoking. I can always smell the intoxicating aroma of cigarettes around me." Ah. Zhao Yulong was chewing gum with his eyes closed, his face full of intoxication. Angela. "Yulin, what are you doing by quitting smoking? Do you want to contribute a small amount to improving environmental pollution?" "Bah," Zhao Yulong smiled bitterly, "I'm not that noble, it's just that I like a woman, and she doesn't like the smell of cigarettes. It's that simple." Hearing this, Yulin was startled. "Wait, you mean you're going to be single?" Yulin clearly remembered that in that future, Zhao Yulong was the most senior single person in the Apostle Circle, and no one was more senior than Li Erpang. Could it be that in his rebirth this time, he accidentally flapped his wings twice and changed Zhao Yulong's single future? Isn't it? Prepared, about to be planned. Zhao Yulong spoke firmly and chewed twice more. "Angela. Yulin thought about the female creature next to Zhao Yulong based on her memory, but couldn't guess who it was. So he asked, "Who is so pitiful?" Zhao Yulong laughed and scolded, "You know nothing. This is called fate." But Zhao Yulong sighed, "Maybe it's because I don't know her well enough, so we need more time to get along." Yulin. Angela. Yulin hid in the public toilet. "Welcome to our toilet, it will be brightened by your use. Broaden the sea and the sky. Remember to flush after going to the toilet, please be civilized. Advanced AI toilets are always so simple and unpretentious." The moment Yulin entered, a sweet lowly sound echoed around her. Obviously, as long as a man hears those few words, he will know that he is not in the wrong place. The men's room is undoubtedly. Yulin also heard that the AI voice in the women's restroom was 70% like Li Changa's voice, but Yulin had not confirmed it and did not know what the truth was. There was no one else in the toilet. Yulin confirmed it with her senses. He looked down at the time. 1100. Haha, I really didn't expect. Yulin shook his head. Zhao Yulong was there, so there was no need to worry too much. Next, just follow the established plan. However, the plan for him requires a few minor changes. Only a little bit. Yulin's consciousness entered the storage space. With a flip of his palm, a stack of cards appeared in Yulin's hand. Elegant gentleman's suit. Gloves of the elegant. Gentleman's hat that won't fall off. Crocodile leather shoes that are difficult to wear. That's right. The above-mentioned set of Krypton gold-looking equipment was exactly the equipment Yulin snatched from a high-end clothing store in Gotham City. Even in the real world, this set of Krypton gold-looking equipment clearly exudes a sense of money-making ability at first glance. By the way, it's still a little bit worse. Yulin smiled slightly. After putting on the gentleman's suit, a delicate white mask appeared on Yulin's pure white gloves. Smiley face. This was originally just an ordinary mask readily available in boutiques. The workmanship is quite good. There are two crescent-shaped openings for the eyes of the mask, and the mouth is an exaggerated smile. Originally it was just an ordinary-looking mask, but when worn on Yulin's face and matched with the elegant and straight black tuxedo, it made Yulin look more elegant and mysterious. When walking out of the toilet, Yulin has put on another completely different outfit. But as he came and went, no one seemed to notice this elegant gentleman full of medieval classical style. Even his eyes never fell on him. Yulin, who was wearing a black tuxedo and a white smiling mask, walked away from the crowd, weaving through quietly. By the time someone noticed something was wrong, Yulin had already disappeared into the vast crowd. There is a guess. Yulin is not 100% sure yet. Before that person revealed more flaws, Yulin decided to stick to the original plan for the time being. Believe. Others will have fun too. This is about to be staged in Hating City. Masquerade. Hating City. Zongja District. Suzayasu and Li Erpang came to the area silently. The entire journey was speechless. In fact, Li Erpang didn't know what to say. Your moon my heart. Brother Su, are you really strong? Actually I'm not as good as you think. Please Brother Su, please let me go. I'm still a child. Li Erpang thought about it for a long time and felt that no matter what he said, it would most likely be the casserole-sized fist facing him, not anything else. No, it's a pair of fists as big as casseroles. Etc. Why are I and Brother Su being together? Isn't this scientific? Li Erpang was angry. During the free selection of group partners, Li Erpang had already weakly raised objections. But what Li Erpang didn't expect at the time was that Yulin said directly, no problem, democratic voting, just the two of you, Sister Su, you vote first. Suzayasu was silent at that time. He just slowly raised his hand. The key point is that hand, clenched into a fist. Very tight and big. Then, under the democratic and random allocation method, in this so-called plan, Li Erpang and Suzayasu were placed in a group. However, apart from some special reasons, as a teammate, Suzayasu is the person who can make Fatty feel at ease the most. Being on the same team as Yiren, I was afraid of being cheated. Oda dance? Hee, although Li Erpang really wanted to do it, Oda Mai was obviously not happy. Li Changa? Lao Pan? It's still the same thing, forget it. In short, the teaming up of Li Erpang and Suzayasu is a done deal, the rice is already cooked, and the water is hard to collect. The fat man cried silently, a sad little fat man, carrying everything on his own. When passing by the Goddess Tower in Zongja district. It is the tallest building in the entire Hating city. An under-maintenance sign was erected at the entrance. Strange, wasn't that boy hiding up there yesterday and looking around with a telescope? Li Erpang just became a little curious. Suzayasu gently touched Li Erpang. Serve as a reminder. Li Erpang was slightly startled. Only then did he feel the death mark on his belly vibrate slightly. But it was a message from Ou Lele. It's okay, it's okay. Let's start the work. It was completely opposite to Orl's cheerful tone. When Li Erpang saw this message, his face suddenly darkened. Infinity Throne. Author, by Yi Shueshi. Chapter 148. Apostolic Forum. A little-known account in the forum silently posted a message. Subsequent of the ownerless spirit-attached weapon in Hating City. This is the title. Regarding the emergence of unowned and spirit-possessed weapons in Hating City, there was a lot of commotion in the Apostle Circle not long ago. But in a very short period of time, it has been proven to be a trap. The kind of huge pit that traps people without paying for their lives. As a result, many people have given up on the unrealistic idea of raping one night. As an apostle, it's better to stay down to earth and slowly grow stronger. So no one mentioned this matter in the past 2 days. Of course, many apostles died in Hating City. It has also become an account in the forum that will never go online. Every apostle in the Tower of Death area couldn't help but let out a disdainful laugh when they saw this post that suddenly popped up. You still want to trick people into becoming cannon fodder in Hating City? Do you really think I'm an anti? It's been proven that this is a trap. Does anyone still believe it? No way. No way. Certainly. Many people say this. I thought so. The body opened that small post very honestly. What all the apostles did not expect was that the content of the post was very different from what they had imagined at the beginning. This is a post from an account called Gentleman who has never posted a record. Hating City's unowned spirit-possessed weapons is a scam. There are no spirit-possessed weapons at all. All of us have been deceived. That's it? That's it? That's it? Countless apostles outside Hating City had countless question marks flashing through their minds the moment they saw this post. It's just baffling. I quickly closed the post and continued to join the flood of trolls. But this inexplicable post took on a different flavor in the eyes of other apostles in Hating City. Especially the apostle who happens to be the second level. Because the second-level apostles all had to stay in Hating City because of the same mandatory practical mission. Not allowed to leave. Therefore, many witty apostles began to think about it the moment they saw this post. If there really is no ownerless spirit-possessed weapon, then why does this trumpet call Gentleman post such boring posts like no silver 300 liang? Could it be that possible existence of ownerless spirit-possessed weapons? No. Be more confident and remove the word maybe. It turns out that there really are ownerless weapons possessed by spirits. And it's on the Gentleman. However, because the weapon has no owner and is possessed by spirit, the Gentleman may not be able to recognize its owner, so it cannot be turned into a card, or it may not be stored in the storage space at all. I see. I see. I see. How brilliant. Insidious. How cunning. This bastard called a gentleman actually wants to use such a completely unscrupulous little trick to hide the truth? Naive, so naive. No. This could even be a trap. It is very possible that even this trumpet is a cover. The real ownerless weapon possessed by a spirit is most likely still in Hades City, in the hands of the gentleman, or in the hands of the gentleman's companions in hand. A wise apostle can often see through the truth hidden under the surface. Zongja District. A cute-looking girl sat on a bench in the square with her lips pouted and nothing to do. She lowered her head, her eyes blurred. No one knew that her vision was penetrating through space and she was browsing a forum that ordinary people had no idea about. Humph, who is this gentleman? Isn't this method too low level? Do you really think that everyone is a brainless muscle flow on the strength side? The girl had a black line on her forehead and was speechless. Right now. She just raised her head. Two figures wearing cute bunny hoods happened to pass by not far from her. Of these two hooded figures, one is tall and strong, the other short and fat. Of course, the short and fat rabbit is not technically short, but it looks a bit short and funny next to the 2-meter tall rabbit next to it. However, whether he is tall, short, fat, thin, short, or powerful is not the point at all. The point is, these two rabbits are carrying a weird long black box on their backs. Same style for couples. Oh. The girl sat on the bench and squinted her eyes to look at the two rabbits for a long time. Gradually, many people gathered around. One of them was recognized as the current internet celebrity, Fat Rabbit. The Fat Rabbit couple, brothers, are drifting apart. The girl suddenly smiled. She took out her cell phone from her bag before Fat Rabbit and his wife had gone far. The camera zooms out. Focus. Beauty max. Color correction. Etc. It's not a selfie, why should I beautify them? The girl quickly removed the beauty effects and tried to reflect the truest and most beautiful side of the world. Click click click. Immediately afterwards, the inseparable photo of the two figures wearing cute bunny hoods was silently uploaded to the forum. Has it started yet? Another place in Hades City. Noisy corner. Li Chang'e was carrying a long black box on his back. Lao Pan was also carrying a long box. The same style as a good friend. Li Chang'e was still a little uneasy. Every time he thought of his role in this plan, Li Chang'e could hardly suppress the surging emotions in his heart. But Yilin had fully analyzed the pros and cons with them. Whether to participate in the plan or not, Yilin also said it was voluntary. But regarding Li Chang'e, Yilin added casually. However, if you plan to hide in the villa and get by, I will post the fact that there is a mother spirit behind you to the Apostle Forum so that others can envy you. Damn it! The moment Li Chang'e heard these words, his mentality suddenly collapsed. Yilin didn't say that originally, but Li Chang'e really had such a plan. Anyway, this is a group mission. If others kill Zhang Huishan, Li Chang'e can also complete the mission. Who will be on it? What if I injure this perfect side face? Wouldn't that cause a greater disaster? What to do with the countless female fans? Li Chang'e has his own concerns. I am caring about the common people and caring about women's health. It's a pity that Yilin didn't give Li Chang'e a chance to continue. After all, if Yilin exposed this incident on the Apostle Forum, it would be no different from writing a memorial message for Li Chang'e in advance. Still the kind of voice and emotion. Ever since, Li Chang'e decided to come forward. Be a hero. Well, not the heroic kind. In order to prevent Li Chang'e from retreating before the battle, Yilin placed Lao Pan next to Li Chang'e and blocked Li Chang'e's escape route. Li Chang'e looked up at the sky with his face at a 45-degree angle. It is said that this is the saddest angle. Ah, the sun is a little bit dazzling. The reality is a bit helpless. No way. With great ability comes great responsibility. Appearance, the same. Lao Pan had no expression on his face, and the stick in his hand flashed past. I'll take it off. Can't I take it off? Under Lao Pan's urging, Li Changa finally made up his mind and slowly took off his hat, mask, and sunglasses. Unexpectedly, under the standard celebrity disguise of hat, mask, and sunglasses, Li Changa's entire face was covered with bandages. Layers and layers of bandages. It is estimated that even if his biological mother came, she would not be able to recognize Li Changa through these layers of bandages. Old Pan chuckled and took out a mask that he had just bought and was still warm from the storage space. The mask is a festive clown. Joker. I don't know why, when faced with a dazzling array of masks, Lao Pan fell in love with this one at a glance. Hating City's large-scale masquerade is about to begin. Look. Who is that? Cosplay? I haven't heard of a comic convention. A girl carrying a long black box on her back and a black sheath sword hanging on her waist seemed to be isolated from the world, walking silently on the road. The figure of the girl is very graceful, but on her face, she actually wears a ferocious ghost face with a green face and fangs. With the long knife at her waist, her whole body exudes a cold and murderous intention that is unapproachable by strangers. It's just that this murderous intention, in the eyes of most people, is misunderstood as temperament. Wow! This beauty's cosplay is so good. Just like it and upload it. Call for the little sister. The kind that never leaves you. Wait a minute, isn't this the special location shooting that big star Li Changa said? Hey, don't tell me, with such realistic props and the temperament of this young lady, she must be a big star. For a time, the Hating City BBS forum became turbulent again. From different places in Hating City, several actors in weird costumes appeared. Soon. Then the boring Navy started to give nicknames to these actors who were filming on location. Bandage Man. Clown. Ghost Face. The Fat Rabbit couple. Among them, Fat Rabbit and his wife are already well-known internet celebrities in Hating City. Yesterday, a cross-dressing man chased his husband. Many people combined yesterday's news and quickly guessed the identity of the other strong rabbit next to Fat Rabbit. This is indeed a touching and poignant love story. Fat Rabbit stuffed high. For a time, the Fat Rabbit played by Li Erpang and this pair of CPS became unparalleled in the Hating City BBS, once again refreshing yesterday's popularity. Li Erpang. Except for Yi Lin who is missing. There is also Ou Lele who is hiding in the dark and takes charge of the surveillance system of Hating City. 5 others. Ghostface Oda Mai, Clown Lao Pan, Bandage Man Li Changa, Fat Rabbit couple Li Erpang and Suzaya Su, all landed in Hating City in their own way and with brand new looks. Soon, both ordinary people and the circle of apostles caused an uproar because of these 5 people. Ordinary people, Debo, are naturally happy to eat melons and watch the show, and they are very happy. But hidden in the vast crowd, there was a pair of thoughtful eyes, staring at the 5 people in disguise. To be precise, it should be the black box behind the 5 people. In the blink of an eye. Many people also reported in real time on the Apostle Forum about this ownerless weapon possessed by a spirit incident. Greedy. Be prepared to take action. Some stood still. Someone honestly went to find Zhang Huishun. In short, within the circle of apostles, everyone has their own agenda. Especially the apostle who is currently trapped in Hating City. Originally, they were still having a headache as to who was Zhang Huishun in the mission, but their attention was suddenly attracted by the weapon with no owner and spirit attached. Of course, there are other apostles besides the second-level apostles. Anyway, the mandatory real-life mission has nothing to do with them, so they will focus their full attention on these 5 people. I don't know if it's a coincidence or not. As early as when the ownerless spirit-possessed weapon thing was just becoming popular in the industry, there was an anonymous senior apostle who kindly explained the power of spirit-possessed weapons in detail to all the newbies. In short, enchanted weapons are special types of weapons that can be evolved. How to get it and how difficult it is. And look at the face. When the spirit-possessed weapon is upgraded to the final level, it can even become something beyond the legendary level. After learning about the special features of spirit-possessed weapons, countless people in the circle were ready to take action. 5 boxes, 5 people, who is a gentleman? Are you stupid? Who told you that if a gentleman posts something, his weapon must be with the gentleman? Yes. That one is just a small account that has never posted anything. Maybe the person who actually got the unknown spirit weapon paid the price for other people to post to confuse the public. Wise upstairs. In my opinion, the person who got the spirit enchanted weapon couldn't bind the spirit enchanted weapon for some special reason, so he couldn't turn the spirit enchanted weapon into a card and couldn't put it into the storage space. That's why it was fixed this time out. Someone else raised a question. But why did he come out? Wouldn't it be better to just hide? The mentally retarded person upstairs has been identified. You don't need to think about it to know that the person who got the ownerless spirit-possessed weapon must be at the second level. Therefore, he also shouldered the task of killing Zhang Huishan. He had no choice but to run out to find Zhang Huishan. In a short period of time. Whether it is in Hating City or outside Hating City, there are already a large number of senior apostles who have analyzed the causes and consequences of all these events in a clear and logical manner, and made a summary. The murderer, no, the body of the possessed weapon is in those 5 boxes. Human beings are always creatures that are easily led to a rhythm inexplicably. Yilin turned on and followed her like a shadow. After being upgraded to the max level, Yilin is no longer paying attention to the consumption. Open for a while, close for a while, wave for a while, stop for a while. Yilin doesn't bother to calculate how long she can lurk. Once you get used to using this skill, if you really want to use it, it's almost not much different from the passive skill. Everything comes from the heart. No one noticed that an elegantly dressed gentleman in a tuxedo stood quietly under the shade of a tree enjoying the shade. Yilin watched the Hating City BBS forum for a while. Opened the Apostle forum panel again and browsed the posts on it. 1 minute later. Yilin smiled slightly. It looks like the fire has been lit. Some people believe it and some people don't believe it. It's not surprising. But as long as someone happens to fan the flames, that's exactly what I want, haha. Zhang Huishan is no accident. You can definitely guess that there will be a large number of apostles gathering towards Fatty and the others. I wonder if you can still sit still? Haha. Actually. At this point. Regarding the next development, Yilin is more than 80% sure and can escape from this whirlpool. In the real world, apostles cannot appear openly in the sun. At least, not until that thing happens. Therefore, once an apostle is attracted to something on the street, he is not much different from the boss in the other world. People die for wealth and birds die for food. I believe that once those crazy apostles choose to take action, they will naturally have the consciousness to be killed before taking action. Yilin sighed, at that time, you won't be able to blame me. Apostle is a very contradictory existence. Take Yilin for example. He knew that to fight against that dark future, he must rely on the power of other apostles. With his own strength, it would be difficult to resist the 4 nights of the apocalypse. But knowing it is, for various reasons, whether it is mission, interest, or hate, the apostle is a ruthless creature who will fall out at any time. Yilin, the same is true. No way. This may be the cruel fate that the apostles suffered. Just like in Gotham City, when Yilin became another boss in the main mission 3, Pan Xiaozheng and Li Erpang also hesitated whether to choose to kill boss Yilin and use another relatively easy method. Method to complete the main mission. Even after the incident, Yulin did not blame Lao Pan for his hesitation at the last moment in Gotham City. Because it would be the same if it were him. Only by weighing the pros and cons and thinking fully can you live longer. In the end, no matter who they are, they will become indifferent to life. It is precisely because of this that the special group exists. Otherwise, the world would have become a mess because of the apostles. Yulin has just witnessed one more future than others, so she has a little more respect for life than others. Only after seeing the endless night can I yearn for the light so much. Another place in Huading City. Street. Zhao Yulong gulped down the ramen noodles. You don't have to pay for it yourself, it smells so good. On Zhao Yulong's side, Angela looked at the bowl of hot ramen in front of her and found it boring. Zhao, brother Zhao, have you read the forum? That forum. Suck, did you see it? What, is there a problem? Is this the plan? If this happens, many similar people may die. Angela also analyzed the key points from the information on the Apostle Forum. Just die, what's the problem? Zhao Yulong gulped down the soup in the bowl, wiped his mouth, picked his teeth, and smiled. Those blind brats attacked Yulin's friends, and let the boy named Yana kill them. Isn't it just self-defense? This is very normal. This familiar line. What a legitimate defense. Then, can I help? Angela was quite speechless, but she still asked tentatively. You, Zhao Yulong glanced at Angela and narrowed his eyes slightly, although you are quite beautiful, but, you can't. But if necessary, maybe we can make an exception, so you can just wait for my notification. Without waiting for Angela to ask. Zhao Yulong had already stood up and said with a smile, because you don't have a license. Sister, check out. Oh. Beautiful sister, remember to issue an invoice. I want to go back and reimburse you. The boss lady was so happy when she was slapped by Zhao Yulong's fairy fart that she said sweetly, okay. Ghost face Oda Mai. Walking quietly on the long street. There was a circle of people around. A big circle. Unknowingly, Oda Mai had been gone for nearly half an hour. Right now. A few people silently pushed their way through the crowd. 4, to be exact. They also wore masks on their faces. Various masks. Ahem. One of them coughed twice and laughed loudly, hand over the things, I will spare your life. The crowd of onlookers immediately became enthusiastic and praised it one after another. Good. The lines are full and the emotions are on point. Very realistic. So good. Well, I still feel 30% nervous and 70% stiff. Come on, you guys are different. I believe you can do better. It's much better than other crews, okay. Don't be picky. In short, it's awesome. What kind of movie is this crew making? I will be a fan for a lifetime. I will be a fan for a lifetime. But in Oda Mai's ears, it seemed that she could no longer hear any sound. She just looked up. The ghost face covered her facial features and her expression could not be seen clearly. Oda Mai slowly placed her right hand on the long knife at her waist. About to unsheath. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Infinity Throne. Author, by Yi Shueshi. Chapter 149. There were faint noises all around. Like a celebration. The busy Hating city seems to have not been so lively in many years. Many news media even rushed to the scene in order to get first-hand live broadcast shooting. In short, 2 words. Fire. It's all on fire. The other side. Zhao Yulong picked his teeth and stepped on flip-flops while paying attention to the real-time broadcasts everywhere, and occasionally made a sound of admiration. Oh, not bad. Huh? These legs are fine. I can play, ahem. Tisk, tisk, this angle seems a bit uninteresting. Again, Angela shook her head silently. This scene is familiar, yet far away. Zhao, brother Zhao, shall I buy a pack of cigarettes? Angela looked at the unmanned vending soda shop not far away, and finally couldn't help but whisper. Wait, you still smoke? Oh no, smoke. Zhao Yulong instantly felt that his mouth was a little dry and his throat was a little itchy. It seemed that just hearing the word smoke made his whole body itch involuntarily, which was very difficult to bear. But remembering that that person didn't like the smell of cigarettes, Zhao Yulong gritted his teeth again, threw a piece of chewing gum into his mouth, and tugged at the corner of his mouth. Go and hurry up, don't hang around in front of me. Angela smiled slightly. He gave Zhao Yulong a funny look, then twisted his sexy waist and quickly walked into the store. Zhao Yulong stared at Angela's back, squinting as if in deep thought. Then, when Angela comes out, Zhao Yulong sucked, quickly wiped the saliva from the corner of his mouth, turned his head, and whistled, with an expression like brother, I didn't see anything. Snapped. Angela did not shy away from suspicion, and directly lit a slender lady's cigarette. Her eyes were blurred, her movements were graceful, and she was puffing out smoke. Her whole figure seemed to be surrounded by clouds and mist in a fairyland. Zhao Yulong took a sip by the way. Second hand. It's actually quite fragrant. It's just that this cigarette smell lacks a bit of flavor. After all, it is a women's cigarette, and the taste is light and not strong enough. Here, brother Zhao, do you want a bite? Angela looked at the greedy Zhao Yulong with a smile, and handed the delicate cigarette holder that was slightly moist and glowing with seductive light to Zhao Yulong. He hesitated for several seconds. Zhao Yulong waved his hand, I just quit smoking. I know, Angela smiled, her eyes like crescent moons, her soft red hair swaying slowly in the breeze, exuding a mature charm all over her body. But this is my cigarette, and it has nothing to do with you, brother Zhao. Angela blinked. It makes sense. Zhao Yulong suddenly realized. Unable to refute. What the hell? You're actually a reporter. Li Erpang looked at the professional shooting equipment raised in the crowd. While he was secretly happy, he couldn't help but feel a little scared. This matter seems to be getting bigger and bigger. His father wouldn't be able to recognize him through all the layers of hoods, right? No way. No way. Probably not. Li Erpang was originally very confident that even if his parents came in person, they would never recognize him. But ever since Suzayasu recognized the little fat man at a glance, Li Erpang had the illusion that this hood is like the emperor's new clothes. Could it be that Suzayasu's kind of love is really love? Li Erpang didn't believe it. I wouldn't believe it even to death. While Li Erpang was thinking wildly, he was surrounded in the center of the crowd, randomly posing in various coquettish poses. Do the whole show. Every performance must be treated with the most professional attitude. The experience taught by Li Chang'e. Coming. Suddenly. Suzayasu, who had been silently watching Li Erpang with a gentle look, said softly with a slightly cold expression. A male apostle wearing a red apple mask, silently pushing through the crowd, approached the fat rabbit couple step by step with the attitude of a returning king. Immediately afterwards. Banana. Watermelon. Cherry. Ripe peach. Grape. Abalone. Apostles wearing strange masks, as if they had made an appointment, stepped through the crowd and appeared in front of Li Erpang and Suzayasu from all directions. Etc. It seems like something terrible has been mixed into these masks. But that's not important. Li Erpang had no intention of savoring it carefully. In short, when Li Erpang saw this scene, he no longer had any intention of posing and his face darkened. Suzayasu took a step towards Li Erpang. A tiny step. But more than half of that tall and majestic body was like an umbrella, blocking Li Erpang's face. It was as if he wanted to protect Li Erpang from the wind and rain. Snap, 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 snap. Saw this scene. Many onlookers suddenly felt blessed. He clapped his hands involuntarily. Burst into tears. Thank you for this great love. We worked on this bowl of dog food silently. I am the special on-site reporter of Hating Radio Number 1, Xiao Susu. Today is a special day. We will bring the most authentic live broadcast to this conscientious crew that is destined to go down in history. Remember to follow my official account. For the time being, our Hating City Radio Number 1 will be broadcasting the scene exclusively before it is released. It is said that the reporter from Radio 2 was still on the road because of the traffic jam and did not have time to come over. Without further ado, let's take a look at this touching and tearful scene. Fat rabbit, couple. Forgive me for being too big-breasted and weak-minded. I won't be able to tell for a while who is the husband and who is the woman. But you see, this is body language. This short there are no lines in the movements, but we can feel the greatness of love from this body language. Who the hell are the fat rabbit couple? Li Erpang was furious. But before he had time to protest, Red Apple, who was the first to come out, looked around and said slowly in a low and magnetic tone, "It's the same sentence, fat rabbit, as long as you hand over that thing, I will never make things difficult for you, and I will let you and your wife leave." Suzayasu chuckled lightly. But Li Erpang pushed Suzayasu away. No push. But not important. In order to demonstrate his masculinity, Li Erpang, while not pushing Suzayasu, immediately took a step forward and stood in front of Suzayasu. He pointed at the nonsense bastard not far away and cursed. "Just because you bunch of crooks want to block our fat rabbit and his wife, Fat Rabbit and Strong Rabbit are stopping us? Do you think we are filming a movie? Are you Return of the Dead? Fruit Ninja? Huh. Li Erpang wore a mask and was not afraid of embarrassment. He acted as his true self and spat out a string of words. In an instant, the reporters, onlookers, and the few apostles who jumped out all stood there for a few seconds. Etc. They finally came to their senses. The fat man spoke too fast, and they couldn't hear the specific content clearly, but the fruit ninja heard the last sentence clearly. They were just masks that they bought randomly from the street. When the fat man said this, several apostles looked at each other. It turned out that they were all fruit-shaped masks. Wrong. There seems to be some strange mask mixed in. The other apostles looked at classmate Abalone one after another. Mr. Bayu was stunned. "Why are you looking at me like that? Is there something wrong with my mask?" Taking advantage of the moment when others were confused by Li Erpang's string of flirtatious remarks, Li Erpang quietly used all his strength to pull out Suzayasu's breasts. Didn't pull it out. "Damn it, Sister Su, why are you still using your skills?" Li Erpang looked down and saw that Suzayasu was silently preparing to block everyone and planted her legs firmly on the ground. This is the skill that Suzayasu used to block the laughing bat single-handedly in Gotham City, unmoving as a mountain. Suzayasu looked indifferent and slowly typed a question mark. Cancel the skill. Let's go. When Suzayasu heard this, she immediately understood what Li Erpang meant. Run. Could it be that there is a connection between the two minds? Suzayasu looked expressionless and thought silently. Not long after Li Erpang and Suzayasu ran away, it took a few seconds for the Fruit Ninja team to react. They're going to run. Could it be that one of them is carrying a real spirit-possessed weapon? Chase. Without the slightest precaution, without the slightest concern, they came for the spirit-possessed weapon. When they saw the rabbit that was about to reach their mouth, it was about to fly away. Others did not care to spurn the inconsistency of Abalone Lord in the mask. They all showed their special abilities and caught up with the two fat men without hesitation. At this time, the advantages of agility side apostles are fully demonstrated. Run faster than others. More agile. More quickly. In just a few seconds, a group of apostles were clearly divided into three echelons, front, middle, and back. Snort. Mr. Bayou's eyes suddenly flashed. Under the mask. A cruel sneer suddenly appeared. He didn't catch up immediately. Instead, he waited there for nearly 10 seconds. Do you really think that whoever catches up belongs to whom? You're so naive. No one who can become us is a simple thing. Do you really think that fat guy who looks quite silly is easy to bully? Ha ha ha. Mr. Bayou's idea is very simple. In this ownerless spirit-possessed weapon competition full of chaos and comedy, whoever catches the spirit-possessed weapon first will be the final winner. But who can survive to the end, who can find the real spirit-possessed weapon, and leave Hating City alive, will be the final winner. The mantis stalks the cicada while the oriole follows behind, the fish-lipped humans. Mr. Abalone deliberately fell at the end of the crowd. He believed that his trump card was enough to become the final winner after the real ownerless spirit-possessed weapon was unveiled. When the time comes, he, Abalone King, will make everyone worried. Laugh. Suddenly. Almost no one found it. A figure ignored by almost everyone. Like taking a leisurely stroll. Passing quietly from everyone's sight. But it seemed like he hadn't passed by anyone. But even though they were passing by, everyone subconsciously ignored the existence of this figure. Just passing by. Boo-hoo-hoo. Mr. Abalone suddenly felt a chill on his neck. It was like being touched by a cold little hand. Fast as lightning. Light as a feather. But just after touching it, he suddenly discovered that he was still talking to himself some more, and before he had time to say them out, they turned into countless bubbles and gushed out from his neck. It was even mixed with hot blood. And gases expelled from the lungs that are high in carbon dioxide. Apostle 1010, killed the second-level apostle and obtained death points, 726 points. The current remaining death points are, 6,508. Get chaos value at 233. Now we will randomly draw the relics of second-level apostle, Bao Yajun. I don't know whose mind is filled with questions at this moment. Yulin had already quietly hidden in the crowd while Li Erpang was posing. Because Yulin's clothes, although very formal, are very natural. Lowering the brim of his hat, no one noticed the white smiling mask on Yulin's face. In addition, everyone was carried away by the heated atmosphere, and all eyes were focused on the imminent battle between Fat Rabbit and Fruit Team. Nobody. I noticed that among the crowd, there was a gentleman quietly hiding. But Yulin had no intention of taking action at first. I just saw that there were many people on the other side, and I was thinking about whether to quietly come to the rescue with a disaster-ridden attack when the fat man couldn't hold it anymore. But he didn't expect that the fat man was smart enough. When he saw that the other party had a large number of people, he didn't intend to fight forcefully and turned around and ran away without any sense of restraint. This saves the spiritual energy value of Yulin's disaster-ridden shot. After all, the next day was extremely long. If you can save spiritual energy value, save it. Bao Yajun? Your name goes very well with the mask. But this death point is really worthless. After Yulin quietly passed through the world, he released his telekinesis perception. After no one noticed him within the perception range, he continued to check the rewards from drawing the box. Get a magical solar flashlight. Yulin suddenly realized that he really shouldn't expect random rewards. But he still habitually checks the properties of new props. Maybe one day it will come in handy. Magical solar flashlight. Grade rare. Effect click to view details. Instructions click to view details. What the hell? Yulin hid in the crowd and had no expression on her face when she saw the properties of the magical flashlight. Really? He shouldn't expect a random draw, etc. Mr. Abalone. What do you do with a prop like this in your storage space? After silently putting away the brand new props, Yulin hid again. Chi chi chi. When Yulin had just finished reading the properties of the magic solar flashlight, Mr. Bayou slowly fell down with a look of horror on his face. There was still blood coming out of his neck. Yulin stood on tiptoes and took a look. Suddenly, I found that this posture was somewhat similar to when Henry Zhang died. At this time, only then did the onlookers react. Shocked instantly. But soon, many people started talking about it. Damn it! I almost forgot this was filming. I'm scared to death. The special effects are awesome. This is as dead as real. Did you see that the man in the abalone mask just bounced his calf a few times when he fell down? He even acted like a corpse so well, he can be called a veteran actor. Huh? Look, this blood is just like real blood. It's still squirting out of your neck. Is there an artificial blood vessel hidden inside? Hey, don't tell me, the crew that Li Chang'e participated in this time is really different from the previous remakes of small-scale fights. Not only are the acting skills online, but the props and special effects are also very realistic. So realistic. Mr. Abalone has long been turned into a box. The prize was drawn by Yulin. He could no longer hear the chatter around him. However, if Mr. Bayou could still hear a little bit, even a sentence, he would probably be so angry that he would play it again and die again. Click. Right now. In the sky. Suddenly there was a slightly childish voice. Ahem, cough, cough, take the actor away. Oral directly borrowed the holographic projection advertising system and acted as a behind-the-scenes director. Not long after Oral made a sound. A team of special field personnel disguised as a medical team carried a stretcher and silently carried Mr. Bayou's body away. In the blink of an eye, he disappeared. This time, the people who reacted believed that this was all an act and once again gave Mr. Bayou a thumbs up. Mr. Bayou, who plays the role of corpse, can even exit the scene lying down. Very professional. Yulin almost couldn't hold back her laughter. But soon, he held back again. Before killing Mr. Abalone, Yulin took 3 seconds to identify it carefully. It didn't seem like he was an acquaintance from before. After the killing, it was even more confirmed. Bao Yajun, I don't know him. Those who want to kill must naturally have the consciousness to be killed. Let's talk about the other side. The fruit ninjas who were chasing after Li Erpang and Suzayasu did not even notice that among them, the only unsociable Mr. Abalone died silently and was silently carried away without any sense of existence. Everyone is not an idiot. In fact, Bao Yajun's thoughts are generally shared by others. However, the choice of actions is slightly different. Everyone has the little idea of the mantis stalking the cicada and the oriole behind. But until the end of the matter, no one knew who was the mantis and who was the cicada. Fruit Ninja is divided into 3 echelons. It's like a marathon. But a fat man who looked like he weighed 200 pounds actually became the leader in the marathon. In the eyes of others, this was extremely outrageous. But this situation won't last long. The agile apostle running at the front has gradually caught up with Li Erpang. You can even clearly distinguish the enchanting trembling of the fat man's buttocks. Die. He wears a banana-shaped mask. Stage name, Banana June. Mr. Banana doesn't look down on anyone. Even a fat man covered in fat. He had already learned through some channels that one night not long ago, this fat man who looked chubby actually managed to escape from the siege of 4 apostles. Not only that. This fat rabbit actually seriously injured one of the agile female apostles. This alone makes Li Erpang's strength enough to make everyone fear him. Only. Mr. Banana smiled coldly. His goal was not to kill this damn fat man. Black box? Regardless of whether there was a spirit-possessed weapon inside that caused this uproar, he just had to get the box and run away. Nobody being able to touch this banana of his. Oh no, no one can catch up with him. 10 meters. 8 meters. 5 meters. Close. Banana's agility attribute is extremely high, and there are related enhancements, making him several positions far ahead of others. The box has arrived. 4 meters. Beneath Mr. Banana's mask, there was a slight smile. Have a plan in mind. In an instant, I saw one of Banana's fingers suddenly stretched out, extremely flexible. Like a little snake, it whizzed across a distance of 4 meters, and instantly stuck to the black box behind Li Erpang. Got it? Mr. Banana is ecstatic. As long as something is touched by his skill, it will never be shaken off, unless the opponent's strength value can exceed 3 times his. This is the ultimate skill that allows him to be invincible and sneaky in the other world. A skill that can be called the finger of God. Sudden. Li Erpang, who was running, suddenly turned around. Very sudden. Without any precautions. This turn caught everyone off guard. Including the Banana Bureau. Originally, the fat man was rushing forward with all his strength, running well, as if he was running for life and death. No one thought that at this moment, Fatty Lee would suddenly kill someone with a counterattack. Mr. Banana was stunned. Even if it is only for less than a second. Just a few tenths of a second. But in this trivial few seconds, in the eyes of Banana Bureau, a cute rabbit with fluffy ears is getting bigger and bigger before his eyes, getting bigger and bigger, the ears are getting thicker and thicker. Snapped. A golden light flashed across Li Erpang's palm, and he smacked the banana that looked a little hateful head on. The angle is very positive and there is no deflection. Click. Originally, Mr. Banana was extremely fast. Li Erpang's sudden stop and turn was like a perfect fake move, deceiving everyone. This palm not only carried Li Erpang's own strength, but also mixed with the kinetic energy of Mr. Banana's super speed. In an instant, Mr. Banana's neck suddenly bent back at a strange angle, and bright red blood spattered from around the mask. To others, this scene looks like a banana with ketchup hidden in it and then bursting with a palm. Dead, dead. The other apostles who were chasing after him crazily saw the scene and their scalps instantly went numb. Just because Mr. Banana's death was too sudden and too tragic. Perhaps even the deceased himself had not had time to react before he was already taken away by Li Erpang with a palm. Li Erpang shook the blood from his hands. Banana-kun's blood. Huh. There is still a little bit of blood in the cracks of the nails. A little disgusting. Li Erpang glanced at the others coldly. He thought about it carefully. In this scene, I decided to drop a line, which would be more in line with his current identity. Want to kill me? That depends on your abilities. Good guy. Etc. Who wrote this script? The lines are a bit cliché. After Li Erpang finished speaking, he turned around again, twisted his trembling fat body again, and continued to run away. The point is, after Li Erpang turned around, he patted his butt and spat on the ground before starting to run. The fruit team, who were chasing after the fat man, went from shock to anger. They remained silent and froze on the spot for 3 seconds. 3 seconds later, someone suddenly came to his senses. Kill him. Kill. Although Li Erpang's move frightened the other apostles, who among the apostles who had reached this level had not experienced several trials of life and death, and who had not had the experience of wandering between life and death several times. This incident not only did not scare them, but instead aroused everyone's bloodshed. Then, this is a marathon led by a fat man. It started again. Yilin saw the scene from a distance. Finally feel a little relieved. Really? As expected, those with narrowed eyes are insidious guys, and the fat man with narrowed eyes should not be underestimated. Haha, Zhang Huishun, when you learned that someone was crazy about scoring points, could you still keep calm? Yilin smiled and left here quietly. Just go shopping elsewhere. The hating city BBS has exploded. Everyone unanimously praised this crew. There are even countless live videos uploaded. The lifelike special effects made countless melon-eating people in hating city exclaim. Conscience. Big conscience. If it weren't for the fact that the highest movie rating on Duzza is only 10, it is estimated that this movie will have a pre-release, and its reputation and ratings will directly explode. Pity. What no one knows is, this movie that is full of sincerity is destined to never be released. Forever. Infinity Throne. Author, by Yi Shueshi. Chapter 150. Yilin didn't notice. Before he leaves, a beautiful young woman with a slim figure, and a little pink girl sitting on her shoulders. This is the legendary lifting high. Mama, there's nothing to see. Xiao 11 pouted. The beautiful young woman smiled softly, okay, it's getting late. Can mommy accompany Xioxi to have lunch? Xiao 11 doesn't want it. Xiao 11 still wants to watch it again. It's so fun. The crew has all gone, what else is there to see? The beautiful young woman laughed dumbly. Xiao 11 tilted her head. She suddenly turned her head and looked in a certain direction. That direction. A figure in a black tuxedo disappeared in a flash without anyone noticing. Mama, Xioxi wants to go there. Xiao 11 stretched out her little finger and pointed in that direction. What is? Fastest knife? Oda Mai doesn't know. How many knives can be swung in 1 second? Or, how many messy and falling dead leaves can be cut with one knife? Or is it? Oda Mai vaguely remembered that Master once said that after she swung the sword, it would reach a point that even the wielder could not imagine, and that would be the fastest sword. But Mai Oda prayed, complained, and thought, but she was never able to reach the state described by the Master. Even in Gawu Mountain, when she increased her power to the highest level, she could not cut out the sword light that she longed for. There were 4 people in front of me. As for the others besides these 4, it doesn't matter at all. Because you can't kill. Those who cannot be killed are not important. Of course, the people who have been killed are not important either. Oda Mai raised her head. His hand was already on the handle of the knife. There was no expression on the ghost's face. In fact, under the ghost face, Oda Mai has no expression at all. The 4 masked apostles had formed horns, faintly surrounding Oda Mai. When the surrounding people saw this, they all shouted. It's like encouraging a few actors who are working hard to perform. The masks worn by these 4 apostles actually seemed to be from the same series, as if they were purchased from the same store. They are a completely bald monk. Kappa. Pig head. Monkey. A bit of an odd combination. Monk straightened the mask on his face with a bit of complaint, do we really want to wear such a stupid mask? Zutu smiled coldly, what can you do if you don't wear it? Are you exposing your identity openly? Don't forget, that organization is in this city now. If it is an internal fight between us, that organization may turn a blind eye. Close one eye, but if it causes chaos in the real world, haha. What follows is not explicit. But others had no choice but to accept this plan. But having said that, thanks to the inspiration given by the Fat Rabbit brother, maybe I can also adopt such a way of pretending to be cool when I act in the real world in the future. Thank you, Brother Fat Rabbit. I don't know if Brother Fat Rabbit is dead now. At this time, Kappa took a step forward. He was wearing a large navy blue robe. Both hands are completely hidden in the sleeves. Click. The moment he took a step, the faint sound of bullets being loaded came from the Kappa sleeves. I saw the Kappa asking in a low voice in a tone of neither joy nor sorrow, "There is only one spirit-possessed weapon? How to divide it?" Monkey chuckled softly, "You haven't even gotten the things yet, so you start to worry about uneven distribution." Kappa. Pighead. The monk chuckled, "I have a proposal." "Explain." The other three companions said in unison. "According to information, there are currently 5 boxes in the entire Hating City. I don't know whether the box in front of me is real or not. We might as well work together to grab the box first. No matter who grabs it, they must open the box in front of everyone. If there is really something in the box, let's discuss the next step of distribution." "Nonsense," Kappa sounded impatient and sneered, "I have been talking for a long time, but it is all nonsense. If there is really something in the box, and there is only one thing, there are 4 of us here, and we still can't tell it apart. In terms of strength, the difference is almost the same. When the time comes we will fight to the death." The monk heard this, but he was not annoyed. He smiled slightly and said, "When the time comes, whether it is based on strength or exchanged for other props or equipment, it will not be too late to discuss." The Kappa suddenly lowered his head. "Exchange. Pighead, wonderful. Monkey, yes." So in a few words, the distribution method of the boxes behind Otamai was initially decided. After the ghost face, Otamai pursed her lips slightly. For a moment, she looked at the 4 apostles in front of her who had no cooperation at all. Her thoughts, which had been focused on the long knife at her waist, felt dazed for a moment. That man. Just relying on an extremely simple plan, everyone was fooled into applause. Otamai believed that many of the apostles in Hating City should have seen that this was clearly a trap. But even if you have seen that it may be a trap, you still have to take the initiative to plunge into the trap. After all, the temptation of so-called ownerless and possessed weapons is too great. Big enough that the apostles flocked to it and took all the risks. Otamai's heart moved. She suddenly remembered the figure at the end of Giwu Mountain with his feet in the void and his hands raised like a demon. Otamai suddenly laughed. No one saw her smile. "If I can kill him, maybe I can reach the realm that the master said." Even Otamai herself couldn't figure out why she had such a weird idea. "Well, it's possible." Otamai suppressed her smile. Despair. 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 When the 4 of them had just discussed it, Otamai had already walked towards the 4 of them step by step. Awe-inspiring and fearless. With her knife, there is never any retreat. Suddenly, the 4 apostles who had just finished arguing suddenly fell silent. There was no further quarrel. The 2 long sleeves of the Kappa suddenly moved, and in an instant, 2 exquisite silver pistols appeared in the palms of the Kappa. Thermal weapons. Others had mixed reactions. Among the apostles, because thermal weapons made in the real world cannot be brought into the other world, the proportion of apostles who use thermal weapons as their main attack method is not too large among all apostles. But there is no doubt that thermal weapons have various advantages such as low threshold, easy use, and no sequelae. They can also be regarded as an excellent means of attack in the real world. Die. Otamai was still more than 10 meters away from several people. The Kappa suddenly took action. Bang 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 bang. But my Ota had already moved before the bullet came out of the chamber. That figure was like clouds and flowing water. Without any hindrance, the bullet passed through Otamai's body. Taking into account the ordinary people gathered around him, the Kappa had already calculated the trajectory of the bullet, and the trajectory was lower than usual. However, in any case, he aimed hard and carefully without paddling. But the strange thing is that Otamai's crisp steps easily avoided the bullet, and there was no beautiful blood spray on her body as the Kappa expected. "Shame," Zhu Tiaoyu took out a seemingly ordinary kitchen knife without saying a word, and cursed, "She saw through the look in your eyes when you aimed. Oda is dancing." In an instant, her slow steps suddenly hit the ground. The whole person was like a cannonball, rushing directly into the circle surrounded by 4 people. "Draw the sword." The pighead mask's kitchen knife just had time to unsheath. There was a line drawn across his neck without any pause. It flashed by. 1400. Hating City. This is when the sun is at its hottest. The normally congested lane was now completely at a standstill, making it impossible to walk at all. Because. Do not know why. A large group of weirdos wearing masks actually ran a marathon in Hating City. It's quite passionate. Toot toot. Countless car owners were stuck on the road unable to move and couldn't help but honk their horns frantically to vent their unhappiness. Huh? Is there a marathon today? I heard that someone seemed to be running on the road ahead. Damn it! No one cares about it? I haven't heard about the marathon, but I heard that there is a mysterious crew filming exterior scenes throughout the city today. Exterior scene? Are you crazy? In the city? Haha, but I heard that the scene was quite beautiful. You can tell by watching BBS. Everyone said that the special effects of this crew are amazing, the acting is realistic, and they are absolutely conscientious. Apart from other things, the reputation of this movie has already exploded before it was released, and everyone is asking whether it was filmed or not. What movie and when will it be released? Wait, the #1 trending search. Just when many people got out of the car and started talking about it. A weirdo with his head covered in bandages, dragging a large piece of gorgeous chrysanthemum light and shadow behind him, ran through countless suspended vehicles. Immediately afterwards, a weirdo wearing a clown mask, carrying a bumpy-looking baseball bat on his shoulders, directly hit the anus with his face, and followed closely behind the bandaged weirdo. Chrysanthemums are blooming. If you drive, I will drive too. Ah this. Ah this. Ah this. All the people whose faces were blurred by the chrysanthemums were unanimously stunned. I thought I was hallucinating. Wait, did you just see? Chrysanthemum? No, it's a big chrysanthemum, the kind that blooms and explodes at the same time. Holy shit. What the BBS said is true. Someone is really filming on the street. How did you get this special effect? Can you also do post-production special effects on the spot? Are you stupid? That must be some of the latest special effects technology, you know nothing. Beep. A car owner decisively parked his car on the side of the road and locked it. Hey, where are you going? Just watch the fun, otherwise why are we stuck here? Wait a minute, you're parked illegally in this position. Whatever, it's just a double flash. If the traffic police comes, I can't stand the traffic anymore and go find the toilet. Hey, don't say that, with the traffic jam like this, I don't believe the traffic police can get in. The traffic police make mistakes many times, so it would be too late to file a complaint. Brother, you are smart. Wait for me, I will go too. As a result, many citizens joined the marathon army one after another. Not long after the bandage man and the clown ran by. A group of masked men holding various strange weapons in their hands formed a long queue and passed through the congested traffic. Where are the 2 boxes? There. One of the masked men pointed in a certain direction. There is a gorgeous chrysanthemum over there. Walk. Yilin. It seems like Li Chang'e and Lao Pan don't need help here, right? Yilin lowered his head and muttered to himself. Li Chang'e and Lao Pan's side was far more chaotic than he imagined. But the more chaotic it is, the easier it is to fish in troubled waters. Lao Pan's luck level is quite high, so he shouldn't get into trouble easily. Well, it should. Yilin remembered that she had other things to do, so she decisively turned around and left. He merged back into the crowd and disappeared. After all, he is very busy. There is not much time. For some reason, looking at the large group of apostles gathered together, Yilin always had the urge to sneak over and strike a few blows. Whether it's for death points, or chaos value. Or maybe it's the unreliable random reward, but it's not a loss anyway. But soon, Yilin suppressed this inexplicable impulse. Yilin frowned and didn't think too much. The other side. Li Changa's mentality collapsed. The continuous chrysanthemum special effect behind him is proof of this. Damn it! How could those guys chase so closely? Li Changa was extremely puzzled. He had obviously tried his best, but with his years of experience in running away from countless paparazzi, it was incredible that he could be chased for a whole hour. Hear the words. Lao Pan, who was also running, also realized something was wrong. He raised his head sharply. Eyes narrowed. Because the sun was blazing in the sky, when I raised my head, my eyes were stung by the dazzling sunlight. But Lao Pan also faintly saw at this time that there seemed to be a black spot floating about 3 meters directly above Li Changa's head. No matter where Li Changa ran, the black spot would follow him, like a gangrene attached to his bones. There seems to be something on your head. Lao Pan tightened his grip on the stick, weighed whether he could knock off the black spots, and at the same time gave a kind reminder. Li Changa was suddenly startled. He ran a few steps faster and looked up. Yo! There really is a small black spot. Because it was floating above Li Changa's head, Li Changa was almost blinded by the dazzling eyes. Etc. As Li Changa ran, he tried hard to distinguish the shape and posture of the black spot. It seems that some Q-bombs are delicious. Look more closely. Finally, Li Changa vaguely saw the true face of the black spot. What the hell? Pippy shrimp? What the hell? Pippy shrimp. Lao Pan didn't seem to expect that Li Changa's eyesight was quite good, so he raised his head and looked at it for a few seconds. Sure enough, the black spot floating above Li Changa's head turned out to be a very mini, bowed shrimp. It's a skill. Lao Pan made a quick judgment. Very professional. Skills. Li Changa was stunned as he ran. Are you trying to say that it was just such a pippy shrimp that made them chase me all the way? Lao Pan nodded. Now that you know it's a skill, it's easier to handle. Li Changa asked quickly, is there any way? Lao Pan jumped across a hover car, and then thought for a few seconds. Silence fell. Oh, by the way, you're useless. Li Changa suddenly realized. Pan Xiaozhang. Among the marathon army chasing the bandaged man. One of them closed his eyes. Constantly sensing the position of Pippy Shrimp. Go. Pippy Shrimp. This is his most proud tracking skill. Although the skill level is not high, it is extremely practical. As long as you are targeted by Pippy Shrimp, you will never lose him. Hum hum. Go for it. Pippy Shrimp. On the BBS forum. It was already extremely chaotic. It is said that the filming team of this mysterious crew is roughly divided into 3 filming teams. First team. Ghostface killed 4 enemies alone, with 1 sword and 1 blow. Whether it was his acting skills, the emotions on the scene, or the bloody scene that was completely uncoordinated, it received unanimous praise from countless audiences and received high praise. Praise. But some people find it strange that the severed hands and feet that were chopped off can be so lifelike. But not long after this doubt was posted, it was suppressed by a large number of comments such as it's 2121 and there are still people who don't know what special effects and special effects makeup are? No way. No way, and so on. That little bit of doubtful voice didn't cause much trouble at all. Second team. It is the actor team headed by Fat Rabbit and his wife. Said on the forum. Fat Rabbit's extremely down-to-earth swearing lines can fully mobilize the emotions of the audience and the emotions of the enemy. In the process of running, he uses unique body language to show the essence of guerrilla warfare tactics, toying with the enemy. Between applause. Good review. Like. 10,086 likes. Moreover, although Strong Rabbit was silent along the way, his sincere and hidden love for Fat Rabbit was revealed in all his actions and behavior, completely interpreting the Chaplin-level character for the audience. Performance art without lines. It's perfect. When countless people think of the explosive love story of the Fat Rabbit couple, they can't help but have red eyes and tears streaming down their cheeks. They all post, "From today on, I start to believe in love again." The third team. It takes the bandage man and the clown as the protagonists to stage a drama of life and death in countless traffic flows. Compared with the acting skills of the two, what made the whole hooting city feel incredible was the various special effects on the bandage man that could not be stopped. Sometimes the chrysanthemums bloomed, sometimes the graves rose, sometimes the waves surged, and sometimes the light shone. It simply blinded countless people. This kind of realistic special effects displayed on the scene made countless people sigh. The crew definitely spent a lot of money secretly. Just looking at these special effects, it is conservatively estimated that the investment in the film is over billions. It is simply a big investment and a big production. There is no negative comment. It is completely different from the previous crews who made junk movies under the guise of big investment. Of course, the more important reason why this mysterious crew can cause a sensation in Hating City should be. It all depends on peers. Certainly. In addition to the above-mentioned protagonists, the acting skills of all the supporting actors have also been highly praised by the citizens. Especially the dead bodies. He was able to die so realistically and professionally, remaining motionless in the death posture until he was taken away, as if he were really dead. This made countless people feel like they were there, and personally entered the plot of the movie. A feeling of 4D? Oh no. This is a must-have 6D movie. There are also many people who seem to have seen a man in a white smiling mask who is very formally dressed and appears in various shooting scenes. But they don't know why. They just seem to think that there is such a person, but no one is sure that they have seen this man. This is a bit strange. Same. This tiny doubt cannot cause much trouble in the current Hooting City BBS. It was quickly deleted by other hot posts. The sun sets. The night rose quietly. But Ghostface seems to have begun intermission. The other two marathon teams are still working tirelessly in Hating City, performing a life and death chase. Very dedicated. Therefore, some office workers who had been staring at the BBS post until they got off work immediately threw away their ties and overalls, tracked the location of the post, and went to watch the most realistic location shooting in history. The audience is growing. The atmosphere in the entire Hating City is getting more and more outrageous. 1830. At the other end of Hating City. Zhongja District. Zhao Yulong was like a tourist, completely ignoring the killings in Hating City, walking around, looking here and there, and eating a lot of local specialties by the way. Invoices were issued for all. Must be reimbursed. After all, he was on a business trip. Zhao Yulong, wearing beach pants and flip-flops, burped one after another with satisfaction. Angela followed closely behind Zhao Yulong. With a flashing look on his face, he wrung his slender fingers and browsed the web on his mobile phone from time to time, with an inexplicable light flashing in his eyes. Zhao Yulong didn't seem to notice. Angela, who was following him, was getting further and further away from him. From 1 meter at the beginning, it gradually lengthened to 5 meters. Oh right, huh? Why are you walking so far? Zhao Yulong asked with a frown. Angela chuckled, elegantly lit a slender lady's cigarette, and said with a smile, "Didn't you quit smoking?" I'm afraid that the smell of my cigarette will smell to you. Hum. Zhao Yulong was a little depressed. If I had known better, I would not have refused second-hand smoke from beautiful women. Reserved, shameful. However, Zhao Yulong thought about it again and remembered the perfect woman in his memory, which seemed to give him a little more motivation to quit smoking. Reserved, well, it's not that bad actually. Don't you think so? Angela took a few steps closer to Zhao Yulong with a crisp laugh. Don't want to, don't want to, don't want to. Zhao Yulong shook his head quickly and chewed another piece of gum. It was a bit boring. Angela took a deep breath, her eyebrows twitched slightly at first, and then quickly relaxed, and said with a smile, there is not much time left in the mission. If Zhang Huishan doesn't show up, with my current death point, I will definitely be killed. Erase, to be honest, I kind of regret cooperating with you. How long is the time left? Zhao Yulong lowered his head and thought for a moment, and it seemed that the same thing was happening, so he asked one more question. Angela lowered her head. The scarlet lips were smoking. Seems to be checking the time limit on the apostle panel. After a moment, he said, there are still less than 6 hours. That's quite urgent. Zhao Yulong expressed his understanding of Angela's mood, but that kid is quite confident. He said that the closer the time is to the end, the greater the chance that Zhang Huishan will appear. But now that the apostles are all together, Zhang Huishan estimates it's not easy to start either. Then. He. Zhao Yulong squinted his eyes and laughed dryly, this is another plan. It's a secret. Angela. There was a moment of silence. Angela suddenly sneered, I said in advance that although I accept your protection, if the mission fails and I die, I might as well rush out and kill a few now, maybe I can survive to the end. I remember we have agreed that we will generally not interfere in the battles between the apostles unless it causes too serious an abnormal incident. Zhao Yulong chuckled, yes, there is indeed such an agreement. If you want to leave, you can always, but if you disrupt order at will or kill innocent people indiscriminately, don't blame me for not reminding you. You will die very quietly. Zhao Yulong's wretched expression suddenly changed, with a dangerous light shining in his eyes. Angela. Suddenly. A voice suddenly sounded behind the two of them. Problem occurs. I owe 2 updates to the leader of Limao 1999.